Style lets you stand out from the herd. What's inside sets you apart. The 2016 Cadillac Escalade.
Huge.
What a GOP wants to put our interests last. It's gon' give it to you raw, no hesitation. We're the right that is to lead this great nation. No handouts, no special interest groups. Hell, a lot of give votes telling you the truth. And while the media wants to downplay him, you still gon' fight. Tell him all he ain't playing. Push him on higher wages so we all can be the family. The only one I know who can copy this insanity of this Wall Street figuring, belittling the $4 bills. Only thing they considering. People need health care, kids need school. When it comes to politics, Bernie's breaking rules. No attack kids on the competition needed. He's running out of facts, saying something that we need it. And we feel like we're making feel all the way to the White House. Always, and they have two buttons on the down today. So the haters on the right, they can feel the burn, make them feel the burn, all the way to the White House. Feel the burn, make them feel the burn. So the haters on the left, they can feel the burn.
Should be. We've got a lot of election-related news. The local days where we are
they don't even know what it means. They just work with it. And check the resume. What's the right since the first day? All the candidates did what they hands out. We do it old school, grassroots stand out. This is our time. They have the way to serve. Now it's our time. They hate win. And talk shit. Want us to too cynical. They want another robot politician. The same old rhetoric. Now they gon' listen. Actually, make them feel the burn on the way to the White House. Feel the burn. Feel the burn. Make them feel the burn. To the haters on the right, they can feel the burn. Feel the burn. Make them feel the burn on the way to the White House. Feel the burn. Feel the burn. Make them feel the burn. To the haters on the left, they can feel the burn. Billions and billions of working people who are working hard but are not making enough money to put bread on the table or to take care of their kids. And
that's already. And as we speak, communities up and down the coast are doing what they can to prepare for it. You're seeing there, look, as you go north on the East Coast, a lot of those are very easy, but not necessarily the amount of rain that you're seeing. And as I said, especially in DC, and we go a little bit south of there, they're not even so that snowbank listening being for him. Sorry, Victor Al Gore. Made up by the Chinese. According to Trump. So, Chris Christie's not even going to be in New Jersey for another snow blizzard. He's not going to come back. Right? Remember the first blizzard? He went to Disney World.
Hey there, Bernie Burke. My name is Alice Tillman, and I am here in very rainy Santa Florida.
On your Christmas vacation.
My co-pilot back here is Esmeralda.
Well, when they said there was a little bit of sympathy for on the last one. When they said
we are joined today by
that's the thing about Chris
in Milwaukee.
I got
and
you got me.
In Seattle.
I'm not gonna tell the joke.
Everybody.
Oh,
yeah.
Blizzard's coming. I want a dilly bar.
So, yeah,
welcome
welcome to the show. Bernie's going to be in Hudson, New Hampshire tonight.
DC will stop operating.
So we're going to be bringing you that in about an hour.
Try to find shelter for people who would otherwise
beforehand, we're going to go through
as I said, the storm has killed at least 6 people, including 3 in North Carolina, who died in tragic accidents on icy roads.
The first one
the 928 reported
is,
crashes just from last night into
if
today.
you guys are super
And as I
nerdy, you
alluded
probably
to
already
earlier,
know
over
that
6,000
it's not
flights have
recent,
already been canceled.
CNN or
predicting
to poll
$1 billion
that now has
in
running ahead
damage
by
from
8
this
points
blizzard.
in Iowa.
And so for DC, where it's expected that there will be 18 to 24, although there's a lot of uncertainty, inches of snow, that would be the second largest storm that they had had since 1922 when they had 28.
To kind of break down the last couple of
history in the
weeks
making,
of
not
polling,
necessarily
basically through January,
And
the overall
what we were talking about,
the overall margin at the top, and right now he's only 3.2 points behind Hillary. So
it just seems terrible. But no, like the Chris Christie, if it comes in right after the
exactly. You seem very reasonable.
Okay, compare. Okay, so
average too. Like there's some pretty
basically we have a production
biased
try to come up with these graphics.
polls towards Hillary on there. I saw one had her up by 21 points, which that is not realistic. So
was the New York Post the day
some good news on those polls.
so
we actually did. We had the shirts.
And I know a lot of people. You guys were
Jimmy, you joked
earlier
about
a lot of people follow the 538 blog, for
the future of humanity.
And they published a little discussion between several of the
media.
staff.
Like, oh yeah, tell me again about how bad climate change. You're kidding. So when you say in December,
is the Bernie Sanders sort of
unseasonably
real?
hot.
I mean, we're sort of in the media stage of skepticism, obviously. So,
you find it frustrating?
so I was like, okay, I gotta look at this article. This is Nate Silver and statistics. So, Ryan, did you follow Nate Silver for last election at all?
Yeah,
I didn't. I've talked about it before. This is like the
little bit simpler to absorb.
closest that I've followed an election before. So
of like storm clouds.
Awesome. Okay, well, Nate Silver, he does the 538 is the sports statistics mainly, but they also do politics.
It doesn't seem like it'd be that hard to understand, and I understand.
And
the idea that we were first presenting,
the coverage
as if I was
that they did during the last election, which was very much numbers-based. They didn't
is the
jump to
predominant
conclusion.
trend.
You know, they were
Maybe people think that
in
if
my
you
mind,
find a way in
biased
which that's not
towards
true, or
the candidate, and they
circumstantial
said
geographic
very
or
often
it's not
said,
true,
like,
then
we
you
just don't
disprove
know
the
yet,
whole thing.
we
But
just
it's
can't call it yet.
always about
But they did call it for Obama,
and
like
change
before.
overall will lead to warming, and it will also lead
So
to
that was pretty cool.
more
So I was like,
extreme
okay,
weather
I'm gonna
events.
listen to
Some
these
of
guys,
those
even though obviously,
being
like,
precipitation,
I'm
and
in the
sometimes
so I feel the burn. But you know, I'm like, okay, I want somebody to be real with me, so I was like, okay, I should read this article.
Exactly.
And
I guess Tom has the slide up already.
Abnormal weather.
And so the bullet points basically, Iowa, New Hampshire folks,
Controls the
weather because apparently the fact that they're early voting states
if you want to
change
control
how idealistic they are when they vote, and so they are more likely to vote for, you know, a sort of more extreme candidate, I guess. And the demographics in the first two states being more white, basically favor Sanders. This is what they said. And they also mentioned that the race pay wasn't just due to Bernie, you know, being more popular, but it was also due to people shifting towards
science deniers too. Well, I mean, I'm
away
thinking
from
particularly of
Clinton, so,
some politicians who
apparently not doing herself
through donations
big-
from energy companies.
Oh, sure.
Don't want to.
favor.
Even energy companies who we've known for a long
And they
time.
also
their internal
mentioned,
memos going
I
back
really like
decades
this article
talk
because it
about
was
climate change.
high level, and it's talking about regional support,
used to be
and
proponents of
they're pretty sure he's not going to get the Obama supporters, like the basically the Obama.
Why do you think?
Probably because they found, much like with Trump, that it's just
Coalition
like
was
Trump
what they
used
called
to be
it
a
in the
Democrat, and they found that it's easier to
but
manipulate people.
they, at the,
and
the bottom point is,
kind of
Iowa's a really big deal.
Like, it's
So,
all
we're going to talk about phone banking later.
So I think it just became more kind of politically expedient.
That's how you can tell at this point that's owned by a huge. So, Iowa is the next goalpost, guys.
I don't know, maybe that has something to do with the fact that they don't want to stop burning oil.
Sorry,
Maybe that has something to do with the
that's just funny that
that might have something to do
it's
with
like a
this, you know,
sports
the
blog that writes about politics too. I was just talking to someone about how
I think that's why
this election is sort of like a long, drawn out baseball season, where, like you said, you can't make predictions too early because you never know who's going to get on a hot streak. And we've seen,
of the right wing, and especially,
you know, Clinton had a good month in October when she came off a good debate. She, you know, did well with the Benghazi hearing and all that stuff. And you can just sort of see these trends the same way that a sports team, you know, goes on a winning streak and stuff like that. So it's a really interesting take on it. I'm sure it's a lot, like you said, more numbers oriented and statistics and things like that.
Exactly. No, it is, and that's, and if you go read the article,
owned by giant corporations.
You know, if you
anyway, so that's
Bernie Sanders search real 538 Joe
I'm
Biden.
sure you could probably pinpoint.
But they go through the numbers and like why they think the things that they say, you know, and why they can't make it.
They benefited from it, and now they're being punished.
So I'm sitting here reading this article, and I'm like,
even on the hard media,
against Bernie, you know, like it's not gonna. There's just too many variables. But
the country was on the other side, and they did it. They said it's going to hurt them. They did it anyway. They did it anyway. And Bill Clinton left office, the most popular president ever to live.
Maybe it shouldn't be quite so harsh. There's a couple things that Bernie should do.
The best thing
you know that could happen
is that
could lead to a Sanders.
Look at Benghazi. So they made her look like a princess, and they looked like morons. Right,
exactly.
Yeah. So you would have a winnow in New Hampshire,
5 points last year.
You know, would increase momentum and change the character of the press coverage. Which would be great because you know we're all tired of the Bernie boy in the press.
Version of that kid from the Monsters.
And
I normally wouldn't say that, but every time I see him, I'm like, it's Malfoy.
He's got a good ground, has enough money and a good enough grounding to run a lot of campaigns.
But I thought you're missing out.
He's scaling up right now.
And I know obviously the storm is a problem here now, right
pretty
now.
encouraging.
Of course, we, as we're not being affected directly by it, although I have a lot of family on the East Coast, we are thinking more about the long-term ramifications. No particular
I thought that was pretty cool, especially in light of the fact that this Iowa poll came out
but that is what we're thinking about. And it seems like in terms of the unwillingness of the right to accept that it's happening, it's certainly to do anything about it. Some Republicans finally said, look, it is happening. Some have even said it's happening and we're responsible. But many will not go that extra step to say we should do anything about it.
In the chat,
I think it's two things that are combining in the Republican
I'm going to try,
side of the
I'm going to throw a couple of questions your way.
That thinks that any minute now Jesus is coming back.
So what I would like to know from
exactly, why do anything 50 years from now when he could be here tomorrow?
Fundraiser event for Bernie, and we had a bunch of bands,
the short-term profit. Oil companies know that they're doing long-term damage to the country, but they're doing amazing things for their bottom line today.
And it was like a little bit more of a social event, and not just like a volunteer phone bank, and etc. So I'm wondering if any of you guys have done anything like that, or attended anything like that, you know, Bernie being an event that's a little bit more social and politicians only care about. Let me know. I would love to hear what's happening around the country. I'll check in with that a little bit later. So,
that's true. I mean, I think that's a large part of it. I think there's the business.
And John, can you show the flyer of our fundraiser real quick?
Do that.
It's slide 4.
What's going on at the rain to do it? They need to.
We got a lot of people in there.
Looks like Jesus is, just stuck at a red light. He'll be here in just a second. Exactly.
What's going on in the chat?
Sad. And then over here, like
they're just chatting.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing regarding your question quite yet. Take a few.
They have to live together.
Yeah. Oh, fracking. Okay,
well,
next campaign trail. A lot of news.
We'll check back in a bit.
Basically, in the days leading up to the Iowa Democratic caucuses,
some upcoming shows. There's 2 shows tomorrow.
Who is going to win?
Blue
But in the end, it might actually be Martin O'Malley.
That goes live at 11 a.m.
And I totally erased who his where that was. End up going for. And the reason for that is that
and if anyone has any insight into what a Blue Dot rally
I didn't even know about prior to today, but I'm very interested in this news.
So that's 11.
Like the Republican caucus, where all votes are cast equally. The Democrats
and also tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern,
during a 30-minute alignment period.
The Blue Dot rally
Does not
5 p.m. Eastern. There's a nationwide Bernie address.
Candidate.
We're actually having
with a different candidate.
Party Savannah at another local bar to watch party.
Most O'Malley supporters will be ruled by
you can also watch
not get 15% support in the caucus. His supporters will then get for by another candidate. We're going to show you the graphs soon of how likely it is that he reaches that threshold. Spoiler alert, not very likely. And so this is not simply like interesting political history. This is going to be relevant in the next week or two. Because if you get 3 points, 4, 5 points, 7 points, those might end up becoming your points. And the race is within that in a lot of ways. I find funny is
and you shouldn't be scared because the way they have it laid out and formatted is so accessible that literally everyone can do it. So if you go to BernieSanders.com/phone banking, you'll get to the main screen where you can set up your login information and everything like that. Basically, all you do is fill out your name and email, and they send you an email with your login information. So once you do that, you log in, and you have to make sure this is the one key thing is to turn off your pop-ups on your computer, because the window, the dialer that they give you is a pop-up window. So once you do that and you log in, the pop-up dialer will come on your screen, and there will be a number on the screen for you to call with your phone that you're going to be doing the phone banking on, and a PIN number. So you call the number, enter your PIN, and then your phone is connected to the Bernie dialer. So you're not, paging through phone numbers, picking out numbers to call, or anything like that. They send you calls that have already been picked up. So as soon as you hear the beep, you start talking about the script. And we have a copy of the script just to show how easy it is.
At the very least, she had a long period where she was up by a lot, and then it was going back and forth. I mean, they were trading primary.
There we go. Thank you, John. It's just a introduction, and then you ask them, can we count on your support for the Iowa caucus? And then depending how you answer, or how they answer the question, there's a little checklist on the dialer that says, this person strongly supports Sanders, this person supports Hillary, this person supports O'Malley, this person's undecided. You choose their option and thank them for their time, and what that does is it puts them on a shorter list of people that the volunteers on the ground can talk to, or just narrowing down the size of the groups we need to talk to get people to come out and vote. So it's super easy. You can deviate from the script if you want to a little bit. I like to shorten it up sometimes. Just to,
he is sort of in many ways sort of
speed things up for the people. Because that's one thing I always have to remember. If I get a cranky person, or if I get hung up on
him and Hillary on health insurance, on illegal immigration, on police reform, they have very similar policies.
I think he says he's only really different. What is it about gun control? I think that's where he says there's a difference between him and Hillary and Bernie. I guess he's saying he's a little more consistent. I feel bad for him. Like we were talking about the debates. I felt bad. He's like that little kid in class that keeps raising his hand and nobody wants to call him. And he's so hyper and excited.
Yeah,
and
30 seconds. 30 seconds. Look, I just 10 seconds. Me, and it's just like, yeah, you feel bad.
Yeah, it's just like, no.
I've been tweeting all these jokes about him throughout the debates, and then I was at South Carolina, and he was the only candidate, as is apparently usually the case, to come into the press room afterward. I saw him, and I was like, I feel bad for all the tweets I sent. He seems like look, if Hillary and Bernie weren't there, he's not a train wreck by any means. He's a progressive guy. He's got, if you look at
Jeb Bush.
He's not Jeb Bush. Give him a break. If you look at his history in Baltimore, some of that, the community has some grievances against him, I think understandably so. But overall, he's not a terrible guy. But this could be, interestingly, really fast. Let's just put up the graphic 6. You're going to see the breakdown. This is coming from 538. And so, interestingly, Clinton and Sanders, there's a good amount of overlap there in the distributions you're seeing. And O'Malley, there might be a bit of that tail that hits 15%, but right now he's somewhere around 6.7, give or take 2 or 3 points. And so, this Iowa thing is going to happen in terms of the non-viability. And those 6 points are more than enough for either candidate to swing. I don't know at this point who they're favoring. I can't believe that nobody has actually asked who their second choice is. That seems like a dereliction of duty on the part of the pollsters. But I thought that Biden supporters would go for Bernie, and I was proven wrong. I think I might be proven wrong in thinking that Bernie's going to get a lot out of this. That might clinch it for Hillary.
Do you think that it's a VP thing that he's staying in to kind of vie for a VP slot? Like because otherwise I can't figure out what on earth unless it's the home life thing. Like,
I don't see how an establishment white guy helps anybody's ticket.
Yeah.
And this, and he's not from the South,
so he doesn't have that.
Is the Baltimore considered the South?
No, I don't.
So Biden had that going for him. Sort of Midwestern-y kind of thing.
I'll tell you who is wrong is Paul Krugman, who keeps writing these columns about how everybody who supports Bernie's wrong because the GOP's not going to work with them. You're not going to get what you wanted. Mm-hmm. So apparently what the mainstream press is saying now about Bernie Sanders is you should vote for Hillary because she's going to try to do less.
Yeah.
And that somehow makes sense to them.
And if she's doing less, she'll be more successful.
And even in his column today, Paul Krugman said that, people point to FDR, but FDR didn't get half. He only got half the stuff done that he wanted. That's exactly what we're saying.
That's also a big half.
I was going to say some major stuff.
You shoot for the moon and then you compromise. You don't start at a compromised position, which is the problem people have had with Barack Obama, is that he continuously starts from the middle of the other guy's position, and then he starts to compromise more. You're supposed to start at Bernie Sanders' position, FDR's position, and then they go, even Social Security when FDR implemented it didn't cover everybody. Yeah, you know why? Because he started out, I want to cover everybody, and then he negotiated and they compromised to where it covered who they did cover. So this idea that Krugman is, somehow you should vote for Clinton because people won't want to work with Bernie Sanders, as if the GOP is eager to work with Hillary Clinton. They hate her more than Barack Obama. Are you kidding? They've hated her for 25 fucking years.
They got like a jump start on hating her.
And somehow it makes more sense to vote for her because Bernie won't be able to get done all the things he says. Who does get done? Barack Obama couldn't get done what he said he wanted to get done. So we still voted for him. You don't vote for Hillary back then either. You vote for the person who says they're going to do what you want them to do. That is the craziest logic. So according to Paul Krugman, we would have been better off as Democrats if we would have voted for Al Smith in the primary instead of FDR. Because Al Smith didn't want to do as much shit as FDR. So when we voted for FDR, look what happened. We got fucked. Why don't we did it?
Why do you have to bring up Al Smith every show? There's one way that you're wrong, though. He's not forgotten at all.
Not forgotten.
There's one area you're wrong. If it's Sanders, then they're going to call him a socialist, which they have never done with any other Democrat.
They call him
including Barack Obama, who they call a Marxist, fascist, Kenyan socialist.
They call him a Muslim, a Kenyan, a communist.
Any of those things, he's like the worst of each one. Like, you can't be like a beer-drinking, LGBTQ supporting Muslim. Otherwise, you just suck as a Muslim.
And corporate profits can't rise to record levels under a socialist.
Yeah, it's like,
Has Paul Krugman never read the comment section at redstate.com? Has he never read the comment section? I have. I went after the State of the Union. I went to Breitbart.com to see the comment section under the State of the Union thing they were covering. First comment was, great speech, comrade. They're calling him, the first thing they're calling Barack Obama, after 7 years of nonstop growth, after Wall Street comes back stronger than before, after all this stuff, when is this socialism going to kick in that's going to kill our economy? I thought that Obamacare was supposed to crash our economy. We're supposed to lose jobs. We had 5% unemployment. So, again, it's going
to happen the same time he comes for the guns. It's coming
on the way.
It's just like baby Jesus. He's at the light, and he'll be there for the guns. And jobs are all going to go away. It's going to happen. You just have to wait.
And we have liberal economists, journalists like Paul Krugman telling us to not vote for liberal. That is the crazy, because there's opposition to liberalism, we have to wait until the Republicans are ready for us to present our liberal ideas. You know when that happened? Fucking never. That never happens. So this bullshit idea, it drives me nuts. And the New York, it drives me nuts.
Here's the thing that surprises me.
It's illogical. It's illogical. Well, because they won't work with. You think they're going to work with Hillary Clinton?
If Barack Obama can convince himself year after year that this is the year they work with me, it stands to reason
it'll finally work. By center approach will finally it's never going to work. Do you think that there's something to be said though for saying that maybe Bernie's a little more extreme and Hillary maybe is a little more establishment Washington, and that she might be able to get maybe some ideas that aren't as extreme as Bernie's a little further because of her ties in Washington than Bernie, who's just pretty extreme. Because I've thought about that myself, that might be, she may be more effective in Washington because of her history there.
That's what people
and because
say.
she's not as extreme.
Well, here's my response to that is that Bernie, I think, is the number. If you look, he brags about all the legislation he's gotten done with Republicans, right? Whereas Hillary goes in the debate and says her number one enemy is the GOP.
Okay.
Right. So he brags about working with them, and I heard this yesterday. I haven't checked it. But that he was the number one in amendments as far as a Democratic senator getting amendments approved in the last 8 years for bills with GOP. Yeah. I could be wrong. But the fact that I've heard that Hillary, because she's more of an insider, he's been in Congress since since the 80s.
Since Eisenhower, probably.
Yeah, so he's been in
the dawn of time.
I mean, and he gets along. Everybody gets along with Bernie. What they say is, "I can't be seen working with you." And that's what they say about Democrats, too. The GOP says, I would like to work with you on this, but I can't be seen working with you.
So you don't think Hillary would have like a better shot?
They do hate her. Impeached her husband. Yeah. They impeached her husband. And when they knew it was bad for them, they did it anyway. Do you think they're going to be nicer to her than Bernie?
No, that's a good answer.
And I think that it could be the case, but it's not certainly the case. And that's what a lot of people in the media are saying these days.
What? What do you mean it's
that she's certainly likely to get more done by working with
extracurricular
Republicans, and she's certainly more electable. These things there's evidence to the contrary, especially in the election.
Well, we do have the debate coming from Milwaukee next month, so maybe there will be some leading up to that weekend.
He doesn't have that attached onto him, so I mean,
that's true. Yeah,
he doesn't have to kind of carry that through every election cycle he's going through.
Okay, cool. Well, let's move on. I guess I do have another question for the chat, since we were talking about phone banking and talking to people that may or may not be supporters. I'm wondering how folks in the chat have spoken with people who may not be pro-Bernie. Obviously, there's a lot of those
next week. Well, I told
and so living in the South, I came from up north,
that the face of the
down here, and
this idea when
living down here made me very conscious of being respectful of other people's political views,
we can't afford to give you good schools.
Difficult to get used to, because usually, up north, you can just be like, I'm going to vote Green Party, and tell you that reasonable worldview will ridicule you about it, whereas down here, if you say something like that, someone's going to be like, socialist Hitler.
It's just the money we're spending on bombs next year. So we can, and that's what I would hammer and hammer and hammer.
That's
that
serious,
we are rich.
Oh yeah, no, we've had people come up and say that we're supporting.
He's got to hammer how much money we have in the country and how rich we are.
It's amazing, and it's really difficult to have conversations with those people when they're completely set, against. They're just indoctrinated, and I'm like, well, does that mean I'm also indoctrinated? It makes me nervous.
Economy in the world
makes me want to, always continue to question sources and always continue to question whether
themselves that even if they have these things, everybody's really happy.
So for guys in the chat, I'm wondering if you've had any successful conversations with people who are supporting other candidates, and if you had spoken to anyone who wasn't a supporter and then became a supporter.
We have to take our first break, though, but when we come back, we've got more on the campaign trail, including a couple of extremely controversial ads. Already been tweeting us #TYT Live, but if you're not, you've got about 90 seconds before I turn the iPad. So get it in there before the deadline.
We're talking about phone banking, and which is definitely one thing we do. And I will say that I tried it once, and I got a grumpy guy, and I did it wrong because I did it through a Google Hangout, and I messed it up, and I got to do it again. So that was me. That's my experience. I screwed it up. So everybody who's worried about crashing and burning, I did already first time. So it's not that was me. Look, we've got a video here that was it's on the official Bernie channel. How to caucus in Iowa. It's about 4.5 minutes, and caucus is different. Okay, this is different from phone banking, but I think it might be good to just run it and let people get an idea. This looks pretty fun to me. Let's hit this.
We made this mock caucus video
to show you the basics. See you on February 1st, Iowa.
This is my first time voting. I'm not a registered voter. I'm just feeling the burn.
Not a problem. Just fill out this form. We'll get you registered as a Democrat.
Hey, I'm a Republican. I should break up the big banks. And I caucus for Bernie.
Not a problem. Just fill out this form. We'll get you registered as a Democrat. I'm an independent. Bernie just inspires me. Enough is enough. I still am 100% not a problem. We'll get you registered as a Democrat. Pete, our caucus expert, will take it from here. Pete! How was your queue?
Oh, sorry, it's these numbers. This is a really tight race. So you want to know about caucus? All right, I'll tell you how it goes. For starters, Iowa's broken up into 1,681 individual precincts.
So that's where you cast a ballot?
Not quite. Each precinct has a caucus. It's a community meeting. Your precinct caucus location should be in your neighborhood.
So who gets the caucus?
Voters who show up. If you're going to be 18 by election day and you're an Iowan, you can caucus.
And how does the caucus work?
This is a caucus room. Like we were saying before, it can be a library, a community center, your local school. It's anywhere people can move around.
Move around, aren't I just voting?
Nope, you're caucusing. Each of these colors represents a Democratic candidate. Under caucus colors, X is a committed caucus color. Candidate green, candidate pink, and blue for Bernie.
What are the red U's?
The red U's haven't been a candidate yet. They're uncommitted. 6:59, let's get off the board.
I gotta make the point that you're not here. Won't get in. Now that's the hairstyle, sir. Hashtag power panel power hair. And Michael Nathan says,
I love
oh
the
my.
caucus.
What is with ultra hot guest
She's good. Two-term Iowa State Senator.
He's never been happy.
As caucus chair, I call this caucus to order.
Anyway.
Okay, let's get to it. Our precinct is allowed to elect 9 delegates to the next level. We have 50 people registered here tonight. That means, according to the formula, you would have to have in order to be
I just want to mention, so Jimmy and I had a debate about
and I'll have the Bernie people go over there, pink people come here, green come over here, and I'm sitting here, and then we'll count you to see if you're viable.
Viable means your preference group is big enough to be awarded delegates. In most cases, that's 15% of the caucus.
We're 5 more years. We'll try.
Okay, here are the numbers. Bernie Sanders, 22. The Green candidate, 18. Candidate Pink, 6. Uncommitted, 6. Sorry, Pink, and sorry, non-committed. You're not viable. You will have to go with one of the other preference groups. Bernie will fight for a living wage.
Bernie will come at climate change. That on thanks to CNN's beneficence, we have the side, and we here at TYT will be covering it. That's Monday, January 25th. We'll be having a live coverage.
Okay, the realignment is over. I'll recount
network.com/live or youtube.com/TYT.
The final count
if
for
you
the
have
caucus
some sort of weird
is
version of
Green
our website.
21, Bernie 29. So Bernie gets all the delegates?
No, it's not winner take all. Bernie
Oh, really? We've been doing a lot of those.
And green did
Yeah,
get a nice
right,
shot
a lot of things.
with pink
But I
shut
think
out.
with Joe Biden, it's Friday, that would be
You
Monday.
are allowed to vote for your second and third choice.
Makes sense.
I got an email, but I didn't
You
read
get
it.
locked out too late.
You can find your caucus location at BernieSanders.com/Iowa.
Bernie needs as much support as possible.
Anyway, why don't we jump back?
It makes it easier to identify you as part of the group and may help to build enthusiasm for your campaign.
The establishment doesn't think we'll show up on February 1st.
Back to countdown.
Local affiliate.
It's gonna be
I don't think we should. Stop insulting me or don't say the rest of it.
Didn't you have a friend who moved to Iowa?
You guys are back. That was awesome.
That lady was enthusiastic.
Oh, you really stayed? Oh, I predicted she'd be back.
The
She didn't come back.
Tavern loved it, guys. Yeah, lots and lots of comments about how they loved the video.
I did not know that was how they caucused.
Okay.
I have always wondered
ad
America.
America.
I did not know that it actually involved going into a room and
People seem to like it. There's not a lot to it other than images of people from throughout America
That looks
meeting
way
up
more fun
with
than
Bernie
just
Sanders,
going
as you'll
to
soon see.
vote at a
But not
primary.
everybody.
I know, we all need to
In
copy.
particular, a couple of Hillary Clinton campaign surrogates are
Washington
saying
State
that it proves
caucuses,
once and
so
for all that
that'll be
Black
me
lives do
soon.
not matter to Bernie Sanders. So we're going to play the ad in its
Do
entirety.
either of you
You take a
know?
look and see if
I
you agree
don't,
with
obviously,
David
but do either of you know why some states do caucuses and some do primaries?
No idea.
No idea.
Chat room, anyone know? Let us know. I want to know.
Save us.
We need the chat, guys. Chat knows these things. Janine might know these things. Let's put her on the spot. We can look that up. That's
I
a good
think
question.
I think part of it is old election laws.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's just the way it's always been.
Yep.
As far as I know, we'll see what the chat says. If anyone has any more information. Okay.
I think it doesn't run similar to, like here in Washington State, we only do mail ballots. We don't go anywhere anymore. How lazy is that? I love it. It comes in the mail. It comes with my voter pamphlet. I have a lot of time to sit down, read it, take my time. I don't feel like there's someone standing behind me, hurry up, lady, for the voting thing.
I'm going to try
but other states don't do that.
overly affected by my normal bias. We've just
So you
watched the
don't
ad.
actually have to go to a
Watching
poll
the ad,
at all at any point?
We come to the conclusion
We
individually
caucus
that
early, so
it
then we
shows,
physically have to go to the
a
caucus.
false
But
image
no, when
of
we're voting
America
on just,
and perhaps
general
that
election stuff,
while
it comes in the mail.
liberal and everything, he
Yeah.
perhaps doesn't prioritize showing diversity.
They know how to do it in Washington.
So I wonder if that, results in more people actually voting or less people.
More people.
No,
More people.
Yeah.
putting a brick
Mail
on the
it
wall
out here, and I can tell you it's much more participation when you have mail in. They send it to me, I fill it out, and mail it back to them.
Particularly for Bernie Sanders. I think Bernie Sanders is a pretty.
I feel like it's the kind of thing I would forget. I would, get lost in a pile somewhere. I need, a reminder, hey, vote.
Arrested in 1962, protesting segregation.
So we had our volunteer Andrew Saturn some information about
He wanted
caucus
a little bit more.
primaries if you want.
He didn't get his way.
Yes, tell me.
That's right.
Caucuses were one of the most common way of choosing presidential nominees.
But they're like,
I guess Alaska, Colorado, Hawaii, Kansas, Maine, Minnesota, Nevada, North Dakota, Wyoming, and Iowa. They're the only states to rely solely on the caucus. Some people were talking about Texas,
I think it's obvious.
maybe you do a combination of
To me,
both.
though, is it the Associated Press.
But yeah, I guess, primaries are a direct statewide process of
He
selecting
literally said
candidates.
this to the Associated Press.
I mentioned in the chat room the caucus seem a little
Isn't it the equivalent of saying, like, if
to me,
Donald Trump's commercial doesn't have enough white
I
people
think
in it?
it's kind of
Maybe
cool
he
at the same
doesn't
time.
support white people.
Clearly,
Maybe I don't know. He should have more white
It
people.
is an interesting process that
How
you
are you going to know how
you're
he's going to
literally
act
making
if you don't have
your
enough white
arguments
people in your ad?
right
Donald
there.
Trump?
I think that's
obviously, though, too,
really
also
cool.
intended to sort of.
We need more interaction. That's what this is all
It's
about.
obviously turned
I
towards
totally
a certain
agree.
section of
We
the
used to do,
population.
we still do, up in Vermont, where I grew up, they do town meetings.
And it's like,
And everybody in town basically goes to town hall or the school they're in or whatever, and they hash out the town budget for the year, all the things they have to vote on, whether they're gonna, put the
why don't I actually read what David Brock said?
So they're gonna talk about it, and they
added a significant slight to the Democrat base, and he said from his ad, it seems Black lives don't matter much to Bernie Sanders.
Set
Now,
up like Vermont, it works really well. I don't know how you would
campaign
translate
responded
that
by
to
saying he doesn't want lectures on civil rights and racial issues from David Brock.
It was a cool way to grow up,
Super PAC,
being
actually had multiple Hillary Clinton supporting Super PAC.
I wonder,
25
I
years
mean,
ago, it was Brock,
she rattled through those lists of states, but I wonder if that is kind of how it's broken down, is that kind of the more
Brock having to, in 2001, disavow book
populated states have primaries now because it would just not be
later was
feasible
forced to
to do
apologize
it
for his lies about her
with a
today his
caucus.
lying about
That's
Senator
a good
Sanders.
point. Yeah, I don't know.
And by the way, it's not just him.
Because I
The
think
Atlantic
Celeste
David A.
shared
Graham
some
said it's
information.
hard not to notice how much the ad is against the perhaps half a dozen people of color in the spot. Now,
But I guess
look,
the
I think
states
the
get to
reason they're
decide
launching this
what
attack
they want to do.
has nothing to do with the possibility that David Brock watched the ad and thought,
Thanks,
"There aren't
Chad
black
and
people in here."
Celeste
The reason they're
and
doing it is
everybody.
because Hillary
Now I
Clinton
learned
has been
something new
embraced
today.
far more than Bernie Sanders by especially the African American community. She has a much higher percentage of votes,
sorry, I'm
and they
looking up the
want
list.
to use
See
that.
what's next.
Now, while all that is true, I mean, that was very white. It could be because they filmed in places that are 90% white. I would say, personally, for me, I don't like when every politician has to put every type of thing
one of the issues that got me off the couch for Bernie
you have a kid, you have an
was
old person, you have somebody working in an office, you have somebody working in a construction site, you have somebody who's black, you might be a lesbian. Like, you know, all that artificial shit. They just use
my background is I have a master's degree in archaeology, and I wanted to change careers. And I wasn't sure what I was supposed to do, but I needed a job in the meantime, obviously, while I figured that out. And I ended up spending 4 years working on a low wage job. And during that time, I encountered some issues that I've never encountered before growing up middle class, you know, having to juggle bills and all this sort of stuff. And I was making significantly under $15 an hour. So when Miller started appearing, I was like, okay, I'm totally on board with that. And then Bernie got on board with it. And
when he was anti, when he wrote those stories that got
from childhood. And I was like, okay, this is my guy. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
So,
well, yeah, he's that's his.
So we have a brief video from Robert Reich and Move On.
And I think maybe when Fox News came on the air and made him shift, maybe he got a good look at what he was doing, and he stopped. And then I think in 2014,
important to have. I know you guys have it in Seattle,
Media Matters, which
is great. So I'm totally going to ask you how you feel about that.
It's weird when you see lefties act like underhanded politicians.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, when the primary starts to get competitive, people feel like they need to amplify the differences between the candidates. Like I
to $15 an hour.
Sanders, and I can point out a couple of ways in which I think Hillary Clinton is a disaster. But I'm not one of the people who says she's definitely not a liberal. On many issues, she is significantly progressive, and she wouldn't be terrible overall. The one thing I do want to say is I think it's extremely important to recognize the fact that for decades and decades, Bernie Sanders has seemed like if you 40 years ago were involved in civil rights movement, you probably cared at least a little bit about equality.
Yet over time, we've seen significant growth in the working poor. These are people working full-time.
And he hasn't been surrounded by that much racial diversity.
But
and so when originally Black Lives Matter was showing up in rallies,
in the big
could have handled it better. And I doubt every day one of the first things on his mind is racial equality. But at the same time, when Black Lives Matter put out their Campaign Zero list of reforms that they wanted,
be within $21 an hour
as having the best suite of policies.
And when we put money in the pockets of the adult breadwinners who make up the majority of minimum wage workers, they turn around and spend it, which creates demand and jobs for all of us. It's a virtuous cycle.
2002, we had a 93% rating at ACLU, 97% rating in 2006.
One step is to raise minimum wage to $15 an hour. This is winnable. A powerful movement is fighting for $15 an hour, and there are laws in cities, states, and forcing companies to raise wages. Some opponents say minimum wage workers are teenagers seeking some extra pocket money.
Yeah, I think they also
About half of minimum wage workers are 35 or older. Most are women, and many are key breadwinners for their families. And don't believe scaremonger who say $15 minimum wage will cause employers to cut employment. More money in people's pockets for demand goods and services, which means more jobs, not fewer jobs.
Angry during the meeting.
Studies have also shown that when the minimum is raised,
it's just like, again,
more people are brought into the pool of potential employees. So employers have more choices who to hire. And that cuts down on turnover and helps employers save money.
Smacks of right-wing
cities like Seattle and San Francisco have already been to raise their minimum wages to $15 full-time, and companies like Walmart, the Gap, and McDonald's are starting to get it, raising wages by about $1 an hour. $1 is not enough, but it is a signal that corporations who employ American workers are responding
more than me, but in the
for a
2007
living wage.
campaign, I distinctly remember
A decent society ensures that all workers get a decent wage.
And screaming
A $15 wage is the place to start.
As were the dark skin of Obama. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty typical.
And she was saying things like that, like about why she was staying in. She's like, well, Bobby Kennedy was assassinated in June. It was like,
so that was right.
Yeah,
move on that.
That's exactly what she was saying. You know, was that kind of hey, he's black, so kill him. Don't vote for him.
I have a question for you about this because you live in Seattle, and
why do you think so many African Americans are supporting her?
When there's a discussion process and decided that $50 an hour was right for Seattle,
but I don't think he's as electable as she is. I think she
how's it going?
Really, I think she's
are people happy with it? Are people frustrated with it?
I think she's far more electable than Sanders, and so.
As far as I know, businesses they're not closing, they're doing well, but Seattle is kind of a little microcosm. Seattle does well kind of whatever. And $15 an hour, even in Seattle, it's kind of like other big cities like Los Angeles or San Francisco. Even with that, you can't afford apartments. So we're dealing with affordable housing, working full time, being able to pay your bills and things like that. So, but yeah, Seattle, I think is doing really well on the whole for the country to look at and say, well, you know, the sky didn't fall. We also legalized marijuana. The sky didn't fall. You know, so it's a good idea. It does work. You know, and when you raise the minimum wage to 15, then everybody else kind of gets the bump too.
Right. And that's kind of why that's awesome because I mean, when people are at that wage point, they immediately go out and spend the money. Because they need, you know, goods and services to live. It immediately goes towards back to the economy, and that's one of the biggest arguments for it in my mind is that it's not going to go sit in an investment house somewhere. It's going to get used. It's going to really activate the economy. I mean, I'm not an economist, but that sounds great to me.
Exactly.
And Bernie is supported by a lot of economists.
They're
the experts, but yeah, I mean, most of us who are, you know, lower middle class, working class, we spend our whole paycheck. You know, we don't have a lot in savings, and it goes right back into our local economy, our stores, and things like that. We did have some comment
that Bernie Sanders supports
give me 1 second. Andrew Saturn is here in Seattle.
So why
he said prices did not go up, businesses did not close. In fact, the biggest bar owners in town are pro $15 an hour. I've seen that too. Seems like a lot of the small businesses don't have a problem with it. And then Jay LeBlanc also made the comment, I don't know if you've seen the thing online that McDonald's and Burger King in Europe, they're paying $20 an hour in Denmark.
I remember a letter from a long time ago. Really? I think it was in the 70s, but it was in the 70s. He wrote a letter talking about it.
Wow, interesting. He was
you can also do that too.
80s, 90s.
I'm sorry.
I don't know in terms of sponsoring legislation, but I know that
but that was I was just thinking too that maybe somebody Bernie gets elected and starts implementing these plans, and we get up to $15 an hour.
That's the whole thing.
The money that businesses are going to be saving, paying their giving their employees health insurance, is going to make it that much easier too to raise wages and give these people a living wage.
We want to turn to the Republican
That's
side.
an awesome point. I love that you tie that in because
at least it's claiming that
are incredibly high
for undocumented immigrants, and so in return,
my employer covered my health insurance. But it was still, you know, still over $100 a month for me, and that, you know, when you're making a little wage, that's a really big chunk. Like that's your groceries, you know. So,
I think it's been a long time since we made that. We should probably update the Facebook and Twitter.
Like dog yard days ago.
But anyway, as I said, maybe starting off with Donald Trump, who has an ad, which I think seems pretty effective in putting across the case.
One other thing about the healthcare, I believe Bernie is printing, several people have printed this out.
I'm Donald Trump, and
so many, especially people who are on the lower end of the working scale, they're working just for the healthcare. I know a lot of people that say, oh, you know, I really don't like my job, but I have to stay there for the healthcare. Can you imagine if that's not the case?
It doesn't mean that I supported the other aspects.
Start your own business. You can, you know, do whatever your heart's desire. You don't have to worry about the healthcare.
Allows those who are here illegally to come in and out of the
that's
shadows.
actually, I know
would have allowed undocumented immigrants to remain in the U.S. permanently and obtain legal status.
I spent a couple of years living in the UK where
I actually read it wouldn't happen.
And it was incredible, you know, people, we tried to vilify it by saying, like, you just have to wait, you know, you have to, never get the services that you need when you need them, and I got pretty much the opposite of what I I was really ill one, it was a Sunday, but I was like, okay, I really need to do that right now, and they called a taxi for me to take me to the clinic on campus. They saw me within like 30 minutes, they gave me antibiotics right away, they sent me home with a prescription, the next day, which I paid $12 for 6 hours for, which, you know, $12, just under, whatever, not very much, really, and I was like, oh, this is really simple, you know, and I've had to take my roommate to the ER here in Savannah, and we waited for upwards of 7 or 8 hours to be seen.
Yeah, I would note at that time.
Which is just insane, because we don't live in the third world, it's the first world, so there's no reason for things to be that in the Rubio's drill. Anyways,
for being too tough on immigration.
What's happening in the chat?
Was in 2013. Now, when he launched as a campaign for president, suddenly he discovered illegal immigration was a problem.
So yeah,
I feel a lot better because throughout the past
people are talking about, you know, the economists supporting Bernie.
By deporting millions of people, but apparently they're both in favor of
it was $2.18 an hour 25 years ago when I last at the table, so we're comparing different minimum wages. I know looking across minimum wage over time, it has not kept up with inflation.
No, well, in the service industry, there's another really interesting problem, because people have been talking about, you know, whether they want to continue to have a tip-based system, or if they want to get rid of tips and just pay like an hourly wage. And I mean, I've heard arguments both with Russian, that it's good, keep tips because they incentivize people working at busy times.
Christianity is like super
on the other hand, making something an hour is absolutely ridiculous.
Like, who's your favorite painter from the past 150 years?
So have you
like, gotta come up with a name you've heard. Maybe that's how the whole Reagan thing started.
Yeah, I definitely have. And I think, number one, that, you know, the way you're talking about the debate between going to hourly or keeping the tips, that's never going to happen unless the minimum wage is something livable like $15 an hour. Because with tips, you're hoping to make
to become president, and if you were to look back over all the things he's done as a senator, some of the bills would have allowed certain types of citizenship for
talk about the
communities of people and things like that.
I have worked in the service industry for a long time. I'm pretty old. I'm older than all of you.
But I believe him when he says he hates these people and he wants them out.
It's a scam.
It's a scam for restaurants pretty clear.
Pay a full wage.
Was that
a scam for employers to not pay a full wage?
9 or 10 months ago?
Customer.
Probably, because that's how he is on all the issues. You don't know where he's ever good. There should be like a 14% tax on all the wealth of the rich have at one time to clear the national debt. He's a different man now in a lot of ways.
Selling them stuff at wage, and then they get money on top of that. It's a corrupt system of basically paying people less than a standard wage, far less than a standard wage, just to save the companies some money, and they call it a tip-based system. What it is a network.
You wouldn't run that because it's
if you look at other countries, having traveled abroad, when you go to a country, it looks like they're starting here.
I saw the video, and is that
that's right. Having traveled abroad, find videotape of Muslims during 9/11. You could find videotape of Mexicans in Morocco.
We don't do tips here because we pay our
I've had tips refused. I've had tips refused.
Exactly.
No, keep your money.
I like the beginning of it.
Other countries, we pay our workers a wage.
You're saying you can't believe
in a country that supports
them.
So there's no reason to pay extra for your meal. Or pay extra for the service that should be provided if you buy the employer
to avoid every time when you get into a big primary contest. What you don't want as a party is for several of the front runners to spend months tearing each other apart.
Anyway,
and all that's going to come out of this.
So Kathy E in the chat room was who I mentioned previously. She's adding to her comment. She said it is still $2.18 an hour for restaurant workers where she's at, and it hasn't changed in 30 years. So that's what you're talking about, John, with the tips. They just pay. I know some states allow that for you to be paid under minimum wage if you are a waitress, and then you're expected to live off of your tips. But if you know, I don't know, it's just silly.
It's different states. It's definitely state by state. California had an interesting on the East Coast. It's a lot more for the employer than it is on the West.
I want to try and be nice, but
Sam Ash company I work for, and they're a great company, fantastic. And so I really did try to do well by they worked within the laws. They had to work with. They didn't
have done a tremendous amount of damage.
They paid a lot better than guitar public.
I mean, you're calling
Guitar Center big corporate. I mean, Sam Ash family owned, still family owned.
You know, Herman saying about her appearance.
They did a fade system. And,
the comments he made about John McCain,
the other thing is in California,
who are you to
they
make
had
a comment like that?
Overtime where New York is
uniform. So I think with his
different labor laws over here, where in California you have to pay people at decent wages if they're going to do overtime. In New York, you don't have to pay.
But I think on a mainstream level,
everybody needs a real living wage. It's scamming the sales guy or the restaurant worker, claiming they're doing less work.
So like when Donald Trump says in that commercial that they're pouring over the border, we don't have a country. We know there's net negative.
Well, then I would argue
that there's actually more Mexicans going back to Mexico that are actually coming to America. Yet he goes out there.
No, actually, another point too with the restaurant work. Sorry, let's keep rolling with this one. Just the front of house versus the back of house. I heard a piece recently on NPR about how the back of house guys and kitchen staff were getting frustrated because they weren't getting the tips. They were, they weren't included. I don't remember what restaurant this was particularly, but they didn't get the tips, whereas the front of house, the servers,
proves how ridiculous the overall argument is that we have this problem of so many people are coming in and taking over economy and taking a bigger and bigger part of our population. So I think that it's totally
going on forever.
When you show that net negative, at the very least on the Mexican border, that takes it away. But the reason I don't think that point is going to be incredibly persuasive to people who care a lot about immigration is that
it shouldn't be that variable. It's like every
more people are coming in and adding up.
Deal, and you should know that when you're going to work,
like
you're doing a job that you're going to
and 800,000 leave.
I mean, it's like any other profession. The level of variability makes people frustrated.
So I think that it does tear their apartment to shreds quite a bit.
I've been lucky not having to work in the service industry, but I can only imagine if you know, like you were mentioning, how do you plan your bills?
Even if you're
you have no idea. You might have a good few nights where you make good tips, and then you might not have good nights for if I just can't imagine that stress of that must be terrible. And let's be honest, it's not easy work. You're on your feet,
You just said exactly. I just want to touch on that. You said exactly the problem.
It went away because the company moved it.
What happens is you end up taking overtime, double time, other people's shifts to try to make ends meet. And then you're just working for help. It's just help. It's not a living wage. I watched waitresses, waiters,
society like
servants. I was one of those guys in my early 20s
over and over. We talked about
and it was actually easier for me to accept that. Right.
Yeah, like it's just they're going to be racist. They're going to say horrible shit that's untrue, and they're going to scapegoat immigrants. We're a nation.
By the way, we're looking at this feed.
So they're going to make their political votes on scapegoating right now.
We're waiting for
things to be like, but that's just the other side of the aisle. It's the other side of the opinion. Instead of that's horrible. That's horrible. That's deleterious to our body politic.
And they're showing us the feed that's coming from them broadcasting. We really want to thank them.
Anti-American. How about we say that? How about we say Donald Trump and Sarah Palin are anti-American?
Taking the time to go down there, and
I could be wrong, but I think in the general.
This is what it takes to reset your democracy.
Obama said something to that effect.
This is what it takes.
The union,
and it's like spending the time to drive down there, set up their phones, their cameras, broadcast through a hangout, work with us.
But then they're like, we're not mainstream.
Like,
How do you make those two things
Anybody
cooperate?
who thinks this is an election cycle
mutually
is
exclusive,
just ignorant of
They're
what's
also
going on.
Christians
We are
who
at
are
war.
persecuted.
With the
Yeah,
establishment
always.
we are at
Despite
war.
the fact they're white
Corporate
from
media,
Bernie
Bernie Sanders is a minority.
Can you imagine that somebody running for president?
And we are changing our nation so that we can all get paid a living
Someday we'll
wage.
get there. We're going to get there. We just have to work for it.
When is the white Christian man going to
Right,
get
Alice,
his due?
I tell you, I asked myself
cameras going in and out. Where do you want to go
Okay,
now?
I
You want to run
looking
a
back
video?
at
What are
the
we
history
talking?
of American presidents, I went back like one.
Let's see.
There's
So
none
can
of them.
you,
Yeah,
go back one slide?
The struggle, when I look back, the struggle that the white male has been through, I mean,
Got it?
it's terrible.
Awesome.
Have you tried?
Okay, so obviously, I did,
I know about
that for quite a while.
I did.
I'm master trader. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get nerdy with this. I'm gonna learn why this is talking to me.
They do matter.
And so
You say that in a rally
decided I
setting.
was gonna do
Anyway, okay, we're gonna cover one more
literature
story
review
really
on
fast. I don't want to go over to
and
Becca's
try to
time.
figure out
I'll tell you what's
exactly
actually happening in the second hour.
what was going on. Like, why was I stuck? Why
So,
couldn't I get out of this?
Donald Trump
I feel like I'm
tweeted out
a relatively resourceful person.
by a white
So
genocide
I
Twitter
was
account.
like, all right,
I was going to
there's
say
something
that
working
politician
against
has
me here.
you would have already known it was Donald Trump.
So I want to recommend
Anyway,
to you
let's
guys
go,
two books
the
that I
he
have
retweeted.
really,
Vote Trump. Look, the
really
image
insightful
is
and
funny.
really
The image is
resonated
hilarious.
with me due to having this personal experience. Being in a situation of being a low-wage incomer.
Genocide TM.
The first one's Nickel and Dimes, Knocking by America.
So his
It's by
name
a
is listed
journalist,
as Donald
Barbara
Trump.
Heinrich, I think
We
is
can
how
go
you
on the next
pronounce
one.
it.
Appears to be a
She goes
self-proclaimed
undercover
Nazi
as
filled
a
with
low-wage
anti-Semitic
worker.
and anti-Muslim imagery and comments.
She
That
works at
represents an
Walmart.
illustration of the
She
founder of
works
the
at
American Nazi
cleaning
Party. And
company,
we've just given
a
a
house
bunch
cleaning
of
company.
So
and
enjoy
12
going. No,
And
let's
it's
balance
just,
it. Troll the shit out of that motherfucker.
It's
Go
totally
send a bunch of
eye-opening,
tweets.
so definitely check that one out.
Then you turn to
It's easy to read.
Stormfront,
It's
very popular white supremacist organization,
dry or
talking about the fact that
anything.
tweeted out.
Great book.
One commenter said, for a propaganda
And
for
the
us
other one
standpoint,
is called $2
awesome.
a day.
From a wanting
Living
to
on
win,
Almost Nothing in
I
America.
don't know.
Pretty new.
Media's gonna be all over
I
this.
have it on Kindle.
Turned out to be
It's by
right there. And look, I don't think anybody is all that surprised
and
that he is tweeting this out. That one of two things is true.
and they,
Either that he
I
doesn't
actually
look
haven't finished
carefully
this
at
one
it,
completely,
or
but so I'm still in the beginning.
and he's like,
It
you know what?
talks a lot about
See it and
how
It's how
we
right
got
in the
to
freaking
the state of
name,
having,
Twitter name,
you know,
white
this other
supremacy.
class.
Are you kidding me?
That was my thing. Like when I heard about the story, I
And
was like,
it talks about the welfare system a lot, and I didn't know how specifically it had changed during the Reagan era. Single time, talks about how the term welfare thing evolved. Very interesting. So definitely recommend that one.
So what
as well.
surprises me is that, you know,
I'm still,
the next time
I have a long way to go with this literature review. I haven't figured out why poverty
Will they bring that up yet? If they do, they're just going to say, the young intern who accidentally did a retweet apologizing. That was for a different one, Graphic 15.
So,
but yeah, I would say, the guy who
that's
says all about personal responsibility, and he's his own man.
Those are great books, fellas. I'm only wearing.
access to our personal
They're very popular, very well. Yeah, there was also when you mentioned Walmart, there was I believe it was on Salon. It was this year ago. One of their people went undercover and worked in one of the big industrial buildings they have for Amazon, and they're called pickers, and they just basically run 8 hours, and they have to pick stuff off the shelf. The whole article, I mean, I was crying at the end. It was so. I can't put into words. It was heartbreaking, and she wrote a lot about who are the people who are they're driving long distances just to get these jobs because there aren't any jobs in their area. So I highly, if you can find it, I'll find it after we're off. It's really good.
I'll denounce them. And then they don't stop it. The reason that they can't do that is
it's funny that you brought up welfare too, Alice, because
their show and keep being there.
You know,
for
the right,
the ratings.
The conservatives, they complain about that so much. And yet, if you were to raise wages to a living wage, you wonder how much those numbers are going to drop. People aren't going to be reliant on it as much, and it's going to pull a lot of people, a lot of families out of that poverty group. And
so he doesn't want to get
those
close to it by
social welfare programs aren't going to be as necessary because we're going to have an economy that works for everybody.
Which a lot of people people.
Right. Well, I mean, Bernie always talks about how people who work for Walmart rely on these government
we still are a TV network that has to sell ads.
Like food stamps and whatnot. And so that's effectively us subsidizing Walmart.
Misogynist, sexist,
right?
Because we're supporting their workforce,
disgusting
which
he is.
I mean that
it's like we have to kind of keep, bowing to him, and
I had to think about that a little bit before I was like, okay, that is exactly what's happening, and it's wrong. Like, it's completely wrong. We shouldn't be giving the wealthy family our
today's standards of the Republican Party seems like a very progressive guy, and it's like,
I want to jump in on that real quick. By the way, we're looking at this feed here. He's going to switch from Wi-Fi to it's cutting in and out on us, guys. So we're really not sure.
I think they are. I think they are.
I just want to. I think a lot of businesses need to make this statement. I am a business owner who had an employee. I could not pay them an employee a living wage. At the time, I was paying them $12 an hour. This is several years ago. I needed to increase their wage. I couldn't do it, and I had to let them go.
Squeezing in his eyes. Look at this. That's the reality. Unbelievable.
That's the reality of the situation. They had to find a job that paid a better wage. I couldn't pay them a better wage. If you're an employee, your business is not able to pay your employee a living wage, then you don't have a business viable. That's just the simple matter of it. I had to accept that role.
He'd be a pariah. He'd be unelectable.
But I could not have an employee.
He raised taxes. He gave amnesty.
Now you say, well, that's what businesses are going to say. They're going to let all these people go.
He gave arms to Iran.
Has no problem.
Its
employees
quadrupled the debt.
Big companies like Walmart, where the CEOs have ridiculous amount of wealth, are basically they're not operating.
I'm almost like it was either the highest unemployment ever, or was the highest unemployment like the last 10 years or something.
And people still love them. They love them so much that when they died, they gave them 3 funerals. And at none of those funerals did anybody remember to describe
they were actually going to raise wages for their employees gradually. I don't know, maybe somebody in the chat can help us out there.
We're just waiting for that's going to be
I seem to recall them having some big announcement that they were raising wages somewhat.
I mean, they say the same thing about that. Why not about Reagan?
So if anyone can correct me on that,
rewrite it. Yeah, it's much easier.
That'll be awesome.
So unfortunately, that's all the time.
I think I remember hearing that their benchmark
I realized
was like $10 an hour that they were
the Twitter
planning on raising it
the messages
you
guys
thank you.
send
in. That sounds right.
1 second.
It just I mean, and even that obviously is not really adequate.
Okay, so don't forget, by the way, Monday after the main show, we will have our coverage of the CNN Town Hall. Martin's is talking
totally lost my train of thought. Sorry.
So Andrew Saturn said Walmart raised wages by $1 on average.
Got into politics was through pursuing the civil rights movement. That's what started his whole career.
They're not to 12 yet. They raised them in some places. They did raise wages for a few people in some of their stores.
Michael Farley
they have
the wealth Black Americans
do it across the board for all their
anyway. That debate will be ongoing. I don't think that the Hillary camp is going to let up on that anytime soon. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me this first hour. As always, I love fun. We had 2 or 3 hours to talk about this stuff.
Is that your CEO? I think that's the
well, you can see me at JimmyShortComedy.com, but I'm going to go home right now and watch some of the personal videos that Johnny puts up on his personal channel.
Well, thank you very much.
Right now,
I might go back to Hulu and rewatch your last special.
Their wages $450 times what their lowest employer makes. You think that's a little greedy? Just a little. So when we hand them money, when we subsidize their hourly wages,
generally politics, I veer into entertainment sometimes because it's roughly the same
sell a
thing.
mansion. Be a
there's a lot of crop.
That's what we're asking. Don't say, we gave an extra $1 on a yacht.
So I'm trying to remember. I never prepare fully for this, but I believe it's second led by Zach, who's probably waiting. Sorry about that. And Hassan and Brett will be on as well, so it should be a fun and educational
it's just coming in and out, basically, so we're still trying to get it figured out. Hey, awesome.
We're waiting on, I'm still seeing crowd. Maybe I need to reset. It says Bertie is speaking. Leo, what's going on, folks? I'm not getting this. All right. Well, supposedly Bernie's starting to speak on this, so I'm just going to cut over to this, kick in audio, and we're going to wait for it to happen, guys. So here we go.
money from the Chinese and they give it to us because they're nice people. We're a bunch of capitalists borrowing money from a bunch of communists so we can bring democracy to a bunch of Muslims who don't even fucking want it. I saw the media on the TV, he said, if you're 30, 35, 40, and you still work at a fast food restaurant, you're a loser. I was like, oh, thank God. Somebody finally stood up to the minimum wage worker and took them down a few pegs. That's the beauty of Facebook, right? You find out that you really don't like your friends. I think a lot of the gay guys themselves voted against gay marriage. I'd love to marry you. I can't wait. Let me go vote. No. And then afterwards, you act upset about it. Oh, I wanted to marry you, but they made it illegal.
I have 5 minutes. Explain the Facebook. Go.
John and Hannah here.
And here's a brief look at what Think Tank's all about.
Woo, 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 woo. I'm smiling. Oh my God, I'm so bright.
Can a robot dance like this?
Wow.
This isn't going like a bit coming.
Sorry guys, don't hate me for the last Think Tank video. I'm just gonna go now.
Yeah, no, I need help.
The one thing that really appeals to people in the online audience is authenticity and sincerity.
Okay, we agree to disagree.
Of course, you get the negative feedback that isn't constructive at all, and I dislike those people.
Hannah looks inbred. That's really difficult for my self-esteem.
You need to lift weights. Fuck you.
Hey, let's keep moving. Am I wrong?
Once I was bit by a monkey. I can't say
No, they banned.
well, them. Whoa!
I used to be very socially awkward, but look at me now. What up, girl? No? Okay. That couldn't look more like a vagina. Oh my God, my head is that clitoris before. You want to stab?
I want to stab people. So what really turns women on?
Anyone want to pick a weird way to fuck? This dress is blue and black.
Well, I disrespectfully disagree.
She is one of the 100 finalists for the Mars One project. I don't know what that means.
Why do you cringe every time?
Because I'm often masturbating in photos of myself. 2 photos of myself.
Love.
Who's about to have beautified?
Also, masturbation totally counts as sex for you, so do it.
Why are you making this weird alien?
Whoever has haughty eyes and a proud heart, I will not tolerate.
You guys tell me, hottie or not?
Tune in tomorrow for all new videos with me and with Hannah and with Think Tank. Have a good night.
Holler! Welcome to TYT Live, our dose. I am joined by some illustrious panelists. I'm, of course, Becca Fruck. I'm sitting in for Anna Kasparian, which is, I mean, it's a big deal. I feel like I have not a large seat to fill because I don't want to,
Yeah, as we saw in the Think Tank episode.
I know.
During the promo.
I don't know if you guys watched that.
I've sat in that chair. It's the chair. It's not.
It's the chair.
Look at our suits.
I should
Look at our
y'all.
suits. We're taking this very seriously today.
They
we got
are.
blazers on. We got both navy blazers on.
Brett Ehrlich,
elbow
Hassan
pads.
Piker, if you're worried.
I'm only wearing this because Haas said it was a good idea,
No,
and I agree with him. I'm
You
inclined.
guys look great. You look really snazzy.
The amount of
look great,
girlfriend
too.
sex
Thanks.
that we are both going to have later on
Is negligible.
tremendous.
Is actually statistically zero.
This is a wild card panel, is what's happening right now.
We're both in the same fraternity. I don't know if anyone knows that Haas and I are in the same fraternity, Theta Delta Chi.
Absolutely.
Not even kidding. Ada Deuteron charge.
Wait, you're really being serious about this?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
thing.
He went to Stanford. I went to Rutgers University. Comparable schools.
Totally, yeah.
Ada Deuteron charge was charge of the year multiple years running.
Yeah. So was
Warwick
Lamb the Triton. My charge. Not a big deal.
So for all you people out there looking for non-frat opinions, we'll do our best.
Wonderful. Well, I am so excited to play ringmaster to this circus.
Yeah. I think you're definitely capable of doing that. We
Okay.
can do that.
All right, you guys want to get into some news? You want to talk about some stuff? I'm glad you have coffee. You look very serious.
So desperate.
Thank you.
Okay, let's
We're
do
working
this.
on the
Sure,
stream
it's
guide.
annoying
We've got
when
the
a
problem
drunk
with,
person spills popcorn
Wi-Fi's
down
not
your
there.
back at the
4G is
theater,
giving us
but
one bar.
how about when they pop off around
So we're really
you
having
in
a problem
chest
pushing up the stream. We
when
may
they're
be able to
fumbling
get
with their
audio.
pistol during a movie? This is the exact situation that happened to a woman in Renton, Washington. According to police, preliminary accounts indicate that an intoxicated suspect entered one of the theaters and was fumbling with a handgun he had in his possession when it went off, striking another patron seated in front of him. So this, of course, is the woman that was shot in the chest. So this is just some witness accounts that I'll give to you guys. One witness said, it got about 15 to 20 minutes into the film, and I believe the lady in front of us that got shot was actually talking to her husband or significant other, and that's when we heard the loud pop, explained one witness, who asked not to be identified, adding that he was sitting 3 to 4 rows behind the man when the gun went off. Another witness said, who asked not to be identified as well, stated there was a gunshot and we thought it was a light bulb exploding in the theater, so no one really reacted.
How many times have light bulbs exploded in theaters where this guy's like, oh, this happened.
Yeah, I don't know what this, first of all, is this a janky theater where stuff is just popping off all the time?
This is a janky theater where light bulbs are on.
Let's get back to the situation at hand. A woman was shot in the chest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because a drunk guy had a gun in his possession. Now, the police have not reported whether or not he had a conceal and carry permit, so we don't know whether this was...
Or whether he exists, let's be honest. No one's been identified.
Right, we just know it's a 29...
People are just like, someone's been shot, but people are like, I think there was a person that shot that person, but we don't really know.
Well, that's what happened, because it's a 29-year-old man who bolted from the scene after the pop.
Well, I guess it wasn't that drunk if you have hand-eye coordination and body movement capable of running away.
He was able to bolt away, and his father is the one who called 911 and said, my son is distraught. He had a gun that went off in a movie theater.
He dropped it.
So what really happened is, and I'm completely going to assume all of this, is that the person in front of them was very loud.
Yeah.
And probably talking to their friend, and then the guy was like, fuck you, I really want to see what happens in the end of Ex Machina. This is a really great movie.
No, I should have been clear. It was during a screening of 13 Hours, which is the new Benghazi film. So just put that into context.
The only guns allowed in that theater should have not even been the gun prop, but John Krasinski's biceps.
Right.
Oh my God.
Transformation. Oh God, I'm angry at him for that. My girlfriend loves him.
Listen, not just your girlfriend. All women love John Krasinski, and I'm happy to do this sci-fi.
That is not allowed in the male community.
Do you think that's why this guy was fumbling? Like he got distracted by John Krasinski's biceps?
We're really making light of this matter.
No, this is serious. Okay, let's go back to this, because this woman is in critical condition.
Yeah,
allegedly.
Brett doesn't believe any of
this. No, I believe it.
Right?
I believe she's in critical condition.
Here's what I have to. Here's my question: do we think gun control, in the way that we're talking about improving it, would have improved this situation, or do we feel like this is just an aberrant circumstance with a drunk dude who's an idiot.
The way to bring it back to like the discussion on guns in America is like there have been shootings in movie theaters.
Right.
The counter argument is if we have guns in movie theaters, we'll be able to defend ourselves against those nefarious ones who show up and start squeezing
You
us
think there should have just been a firefight?
Oh no. That is not what I'm saying. What I am saying is, like, the people who are like the NRA enthusiasts are like, dude, you just don't be drunk with it. Like, they're had someone walked in, they could have had the opportunity to say, listen, this man saved lives. Unfortunately, the person who was carrying the mantle of having a gun on you to protect yourself is the same one who got wasted and accidentally shot someone in the chest.
Yeah.
So this is not a good argument for there to be guns in movie theaters.
And accidental gun deaths and injuries are rampant in America. And whether or not you are on one side of the gun control debate or the other, you really can't deny the facts. And obviously I'm going to mention some. Like, for example, a lot of people misappropriate gun control or like gun violence to mass shootings. That is incorrect. Only less than 2% of gun violence happens during mass shootings, and there's a huge
only of that 50% happens.
Yeah. But yeah, no. But seriously,
So you're saying we're talking about a lot more accidental injuries and deaths than
yeah, if you allow everyone to have a gun, people are going to shoot each other, whether it's accidentally or because tensions are high and John Krasinski looks really goddamn good. And maybe your girlfriend likes John Krasinski. Maybe your girlfriend thinks John Krasinski's hot. And he's a dual threat. He's got comedy, he's funny, he's sympathetic, and his movies can kill people. And yeah, here's the thing. Yeah, he's involved here.
I think in all honesty and seriousness, this is wrong. I don't know why, like, should there be some kind of, like, breathalyzer, like, combine the gun with the blow dart?
Well, no, there's definitely some tech that is around gun safety, and I think they actually talked about it in the first hour of the show. Right, and, maybe one day there will be a breathalyzer on your gun, if that's possible. I mean, because that's the thing is, you can have expanded background checks, which of course Obama talked about. You can do a lot of measures one can take, but how do you just control drunk people who have conceal and carry permits? I mean, let's just say this guy did have a permit to legally carry this gun.
For certain, now that this has happened, that individual permit should be revoked for life. And I think that's not too far a step to take when it comes to having that kind of stuff, because your license gets suspended. So I don't know about life.
Your right to carry, and NRA would be all over that. They'd be like, this individual needs, he has a liberty to then you're a douchebag and you're a socialist asshole and you want him to die.
The original intent of the framers was to allow you to bring guns into movie theaters, and I think we're all in the same.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
They were like, after this,
in the middle of the show. Then we should probably have a full-on firefight.
Yeah, I've definitely wanted to shoot people in the theater, but I just haven't.
Well, I think this is a pretty. This whole situation, I think we can all agree, would have ruined it.
Yeah. Another part of the Benghazi debacle, and I don't think we should let it go. So I need Hillary. If Hillary has sent any emails about 13 hours coming out, did she write
He really comes in a lighthearted way, like a person saying critical thinking. I mean, allegedly.
But don't get, I think we all had seemed to have to be responsible for it monetarily, for any damages, and good job on the father for doing the right thing and saying,
calling in.
You need to take responsibility.
And obviously, we have well wishes for the family who's in critical condition.
Yeah,
for sure. You guys started the job with stuff. I get it. Okay, I will not take any sort of accountability for that. All right, let's move on to the second story.
Absolutely.
An American student who crossed the DMV apparently also crossed the line with North Korean authorities and has been detained. So the man was identified by KCNA, which KCNA is the Korea Central News Agency, which is their propaganda machine that masquerades as news. So this man was identified as University of Virginia student Warmbier Otto Frederick, quite a name, likely Otto Frederick Warmbier, as the agency often lists English language surnames first, according to officers' press, and was said to have been arrested while perpetrating a hostile act against the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. So the report said Warmbier had entered the country under the guise of tourism with the purpose of breaking down the foundation of the single-minded unity of the Korean people and was operating under the connivance of the U.S. government.
I hope that what happens when you go to visit North Korea is there are two different options, like there are little boxes you check, like when you fly in a different country now, it's like tourism or business. There it's like tourism or you check breaking down the foundation of the single-minded unity of the Korean people. Like I hope that's
the way they word, I have to say they're fairly poetic with their ridiculousness. Like the way they word things is truly unique. The State Department is aware that the student has been detained. They tweeted, "We are aware of media reports. A U.S. citizen was detained in hashtag North Korea." Like that they so
I know, because they don't have an official Twitter account. Get on it, Kim Jong.
It's one of the state's acting purpose for a great flag, hashtag North Korea.
I know.
I want to also show you guys a picture of this possible, terrorist spy, this insidious character. That's him. Otto Warmbier, student at University of Virginia. This man is apparently infiltrating the
University of Virginia. Langley. Can you, if I can make that connection, I'm sure a person who is also as a demigod, is recognized as a demigod, could also make that connection to themselves. That, and by the way, what I'm talking about is actual fact. People in North Korea do genuinely think supreme leader like Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-il, Kim Il-sung, like they are all descendants of gods. They were born under a double rainbow, all of them. The first time
that's Kim a legitimate thing.
No. These are all legitimate things. Now North Korea is fascinating to me. I take this very personally. I have extensive hours and hours of North Korean documentaries that I've watched.
Good for you.
Because I love it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Was your laptop confiscated by the North Korean government?
Not yet.
Mine
because, but seriously. So
not kidding. My laptop was confiscated by the North Korean government.
Wait, when did that happen?
When Yoona Lee and Laura Ling were incarcerated for 8 months before Bill Clinton went to go get them. My laptop was given to Laura, and it's gone now, and it's gone. Who cares about their 8 months of incarceration? I work for Current TV.
Oh.
I'm bringing this all about me. Through their incarceration. You watched all these documentaries, and what?
No, so what I was trying to say is, there are definitely some intense procedures you need to undergo to be able to get into North Korea. You can only get in through China, and when you're there, you can't just walk around willy-nilly. Like, you have to have a handler with you at all times.
Yeah, well, to that point, let's bring up our next graphic, because he actually went with Young Pioneer Tours. That was the group that took him in, and this is a
very welcoming.
You mad, bro?
A Chinese organization. So you have, it's amazing to me. First of all, why you really? I know it's fascinating.
100%, I would do it. 100,000%,
you would want to go.
I would go to North Korea because I want to see it. I need to understand how people with people in the 21st century can live this life because they have no access to the internet, and they barely get access to
electricity,
and they just believe that this godlike person is leading them.
I don't necessarily believe that they believe that there is a godlike person leading them.
No, what I've seen.
Okay, so what? So go continue. What have you seen?
No, but what I'm saying is, from what I've seen, CNN has done extensive research on this. They brought in a optometrist to go in and perform surgeries on North Korean people for free, and CNN tagged along as a secret documentary team that was kind of shooting them undercover.
And you really see it when people crying. When they talk about the supreme leader, they have tears in their eyes.
They're also scared to do that.
Absolutely, because
Like,
your ass up in a
exactly. So I would do whatever situation. I mean, these people are trying to survive, and they're whatever propaganda machine that's just like, you know, inundating them.
There's a book everywhere. Or from that. I'm a liaison abroad situation, and the tours around North Korea fully with their eyes open. I respect what you're doing here. I totally understand your message, but we're definitely looking around to see what life is like there. And it's a hyperbolized version. It's essentially, it draws a lot of analogs to like what is something kind of a little bit, you know, hyperbolized. Is like wacky as fuck. It is essentially, and this is the based on real stories of like a person whose job it is. Basically, it's like who is assigned to do these things that they do.
Well, let's just bring it back to Otto, who is apparently detained currently in North Korea.
One of those things, like, because one of the things they did was send someone to kidnap a Japanese opera singer because Kim Il-sung or Kim Jong-un really liked him. Yeah, that's how kidnapping in Japan and bringing him back. Anyway, sorry.
Well, you guys think we should use resources to send film to
right.
Get the journalists.
We need to send out there, and this fucking Jackman, he's gonna get all up in there, he's gonna do some basketball moves, and he's gonna bring our troops back. Anyone who's been talking about, and if anyone's been listening to Serial South Bergdahl, and this last episode that came out, they talked about people's reaction when they hear that someone abroad in a country that do not have a positive relationship with of how much of our resources we should allocate to this. And I've got to say,
and public opinion will sway often.
Yeah, I know. And this was on his own accord as well. This person wanted to visit North Korea, fully knowing the dangers. And so there's, you know how there's like a do not resuscitate thing people sign? Yeah. Mm-hmm. There should be a do not resuscitate thing. And I don't think people who travel abroad, some of them are journalists who really value the, like, what they're bringing to the dialogue. Others are some aid workers. I don't know about the numbers, but there's those who are like, I'm making a difference. The other ones are just obviously so interesting. And they put themselves in harm's way for that extra little bit of, like, I'm the coolest. Like, I'm going to have the dopest party story. I can't speak for this guy who really likes designer sunglasses, but what I can say is
said that on his Facebook profile.
That some people, like, I need to know ahead of time what you're doing, and if you get caught while you're hiking in some area where you know the Taliban is, like,
cutting out,
that is,
very sorry, guys.
Someone's going to have to rescue you.
No, you're putting yourself in the line of fire. You're putting yourself in danger, and then the State Department is required to go get your dumbass.
So I guess we'll try and hang out.
I just think you're totally right. Exactly. I mean, and I'm not trying. I don't understand the complete set of circumstances around, and I don't know what Otto did. Maybe he did something totally badass, trying to bring down the North Korean.
That's actually what I wanted to talk about, like, really quickly, and it's that anything that can offend the supreme leader, like, you would think, okay, like, it has to be something terrible, like he took a shit on his statue or something, but it's not. That's not the case.
Right.
If you are not kneeling in the presence of a supreme leader's statue, you are violating the North Korean codes of conduct, basically.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is, like, what is considered, something that's going to take down the foundation of the single-minded unity of the Korean people.
Yeah.
What goes under that?
McDonald's French fries that he brought along with himself.
I don't know.
In the trip.
I don't know. That's just food for thought. You guys can marinate on all of that. I think we'll take a break. We'll marinate on these last two things and then come back.
Marination.
With the rest of hour two.
for your patience, folks. We're almost there. Getting Biff back into the hangout. We'll go with that. Thanks for sticking with us, folks. We thought we had a stream, but it's ABC, and you know that ABC is going to make sure that we can't watch it. So you can find it on ABC if you want to.
And good benefits. Today, the largest employer is Walmart. Our employer is Walmart. Low wages, low benefits, vehemently anti-union. I asked them to come up with a little while ago. What goes on with ice cream breakfast?
Welcome back, y'all. TYT Live, Hour 2. I am Becca Crooks, and I am joined by the incomparable Brett Ehrlich and Tom Piker.
Thank you.
Yes.
I dare you to compare.
I dare you. I'm going to read some tweets. Well, a tweet, anyways. This is from @Dinsing, which is a great name. She says, I was worried for her, but then she said she's playing ringmaster to this circus. @Becca Crooks knows exactly what she's in for. You know?
Oh yeah.
You really did.
It's happening in here with this coffee, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I need to pee too, so we might be gone for like the entirety of the second half of the second
You
hour.
guys, get it together. Hold on to your bladder. God.
It's not my bladder. How's it going, everybody?
I got some.
Okay, read, please.
As a narcissist, I'm going to, of course, mention TYT Live directed to me. Nuno Martin said at TYT Live, this panel is so out there that I wouldn't be surprised if Hassan the Hun brought out the E and some beats started playing.
He is excellent.
He is excellent. Those of you who do not know.
I have it in my
Oh, look at that.
I don't have tweets, I just have chapstick.
Got lip balm. Do you want some? Do you want some?
Get started. We're gonna do some news. And Brent, can you please? Your lips are so chapped. It's really distracting.
My lips are extremely chapped too.
Okay. Sorry. All right. Story number 3. Get it together, guys. Alright, here's a parting shot for you. And little flowers don't vote for Donald Trump. So that is the last line of the wildly entertaining obituary of one Jeffrey H. Cohen. And here's the opening line. The meaning of life is who unexpectedly passed away Sunday morning at age 70 in the Squirrel Hill home where he was raised. So, this guy, this renegade, who has since left the earth, has asked that instead of providing flowers or any other sort of memorialization, he would like for people to just not vote for him.
You know what I saw on the internet?
What did you see?
That in this article is that two other people have made similar requests. One to vote. Someone in Virginia says support Trump, and someone in New Jersey requested that mourners not vote for Hillary Clinton. Where's Bernie Sanders? I think his grounding with the dead is far underdeveloped. We need to get more people together, and honestly,
You're digging on a Bernie if you're interested in having a
I don't. Oh God, Bernie Sanders. Who needs universal health care? When you're dead. We'll playing the handout so he can develop a pastrami sandwich delivery organization. Like we'll get you health care, we'll get you any kind of social security that you want. But at the end of it, but then I get a propose. I get as many people.
Okay, listen.
Brett is Jewish. We can make that joke. That's not a racist joke, everyone.
No. Speaking of charming Jewish men, let's get back to Jeffrey H. Cohen. Okay,
yeah, right.
I just want to read some other quotes from his obituary because besides asking, people not to dump Trump, which I think, was a nice thing to
cancel out when the man in Virginia is like, I want you guys to vote for Trump, and this guy also died. He's like, don't vote for Trump.
Well, I think it really depends on how entertaining their obituaries are. And okay, this guy says he cried and he's the only Jewish cowboy that he knew of. Yeah. Can you guys name other Jewish cowboys?
I'm gonna go with He's in Hollywood. All the cowboys in Hollywood.
You don't even know for sure.
No, but I'm sure they were freaking.
I actually know a real Jewish cowboy in New Mexico. Met him on his ranch. Shout out to Nick.
Yeah, this is a real thing. Second clip today where we're just shitting on a dead man, basically. We're like, you were wrong about Jewish cowboys.
No, he said that he knew it, so he covered his tracks. This guy is smart. He's wily. He also said he had a great smile. And all his teeth were still his. I'm just saying, it was white humor.
You know what? This guy has made some really great decisions in life, such as to floss. Mm-hmm. So I think we should really take his opinion. I like this story being on the Young Turks. So, hey, people who would never do this guy you've never heard of is telling you to not do this thing you wouldn't do anyway. Okay.
I do have an interesting question to throw out. Okay, because I think this is the idea of in lieu of fill in the blank in your obituary. Do you guys have any idea what you would ask of people who are mourning your loss?
I've said this before. Before I die, I want a laser engraved, like impossibly large stone statue, kind of like Stonehenge, with Hassan Piker, the greatest man who ever lived. Now, I'm not the greatest man who ever lived.
I think many people would agree with
Thank you for clarifying that. I'm sure people out there weren't.
But
they weren't sure.
When the inevitable cataclysmic event does end up happening, and all that is left is rubble, people will look to that stone statue and say, wow, this is Hassan Piker guy. He really had it going on. He's the ruler of the world. Because it's impossibly large. Yes, it's impossibly. I'm gonna be like Becky Pepe. I'm gonna cover it with stone. Later on, centuries down the line, they're gonna be like, this guy used to wrestle with dragons, which were obviously real because it says so in the statue. Yeah, sure. He was a ruler of the world.
You're creating a fake mythology for yourself.
Absolutely. I'm going to be the next
you want us to donate to you to create this mythology?
No, I just legacy. I think legacy is important. What is man without a legacy?
Right. In lieu of.
I don't know. I looked online to find other inspiration. I found someone who left 300 pounds, which is the British currency. 300,000 pounds to his wife, who never let him smoke cigars. She could only keep the money if she smoked 3 cigars a day. That was one. The other one, Leona Helmsley, left $12 million to her dog, Trouble. Well, I don't know how. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, my friends.
There you go. There you go.
For the establishment of a library that has books only written by men. He was so anti-women, this guy. He's like, we're just going to set up a library only by women, right? So I don't know. Whatever I do, it'll be better than the thing.
Plan.
Well, yeah, I actually found an obituary when I was in 5th grade. Just sort of a morbid homework assignment for a teacher. I didn't just
create the idea of I'm going to write my own obituary. I had a teacher.
If there was social media back then, this would have been all over local news, and we'd probably be covering it on
she's
TYT.
asking us, of course, to think about the life we want to create, and looking back, about it, we want people to remember you. I think, obviously, the context does more than, but I still think it was a cool idea. And it was founded, in my in lieu of, was I wanted everyone to donate to wolf conservation.
What?
They're my spirit. I love
wolves are incredibly dangerous. There's only
my gosh, don't even listen to a word yet, say, because we're talking
wolves
nothing
are
about
so
wolves.
dangerous.
I know. Let's put it this way: wolves are the ones who are strong and don't like need those reasons. Wolves are a nice way to be our companion slave. Wolves were like, no.
Find you.
Oh God!
In the wild.
Red wolves?
There's a wolf biologist over there like crying.
There's three kinds of wolves.
Or one wolf biologist follower. Wolves are dangerous.
No, don't listen to anything Hassan has to say. We're moving on.
Pack.com.
You can listen to that. Alright, next story. Big, beautiful girls don't cry. There is a new dating app that is looking to attract plus-size women. So it is called Woo Plus, and it's asking that curvy women join so that their admirers can woo them and find true love, I suppose. I know.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
This is obviously they're looking to create a most comfortable plus-size dating community, and the co-founders actually got the idea when they were chatting about a viral video of a social experiment that will have to register. This looks a lot like their platform, right? So it's reminiscent of. But apparently the co-founders were chatting after seeing this social experiment done that had gone viral, where men were told they were going to have a date with a thin woman, and then a heavier woman showed up. We actually have a clip of something like this. I'm like 99% sure that's him.
I can't say the same. Quite different. I don't mean to be rude, but in your photos you're a lot skinnier. You look kind of more voluptuous. Yeah.
Maybe if I just turn this way. Okay, so I think it's a totally positive thing to create an app where plus-size women can feel comfortable. Do I agree with the circumstances of that viral video? Like, basically entrapping these guys?
Yeah, that's stupid. Who's ever looked at like one of these social experiments where people basically get away with doing dumb shit and like tricking people and then getting 20 million views and a shitload of money, and then looked at one of those videos and said, "Wow, I'm gonna create an app that's gonna be good for humanity."
Well, you know what? Luckily, there was a positive result from this viral video, among others, and I'm not super sure that that's what they were talking about, but that was one that I
That's
remember.
exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow, everything about this is wrong. It's like, because you can see the fake latex.
Yeah, it was just a mess. But luckily now we have Woo Plus, so I'll give you guys more information. The founders drew inspiration, besides from that viral video, from other existing BBW, Big Beautiful Women sites like Large Friends and Big and Beautiful People Meet. But the apps for these sites are more like the mobile versions of their PC sites, according to a spokesperson for Woo Plus, explaining its aim to be more like Tinder for BBW, while also creating a safe space for women of size. So we saw in that other image that it does have a very similar interface to Tinder. You can swipe, but the idea is that it is a safe community and that these women will feel really fetishized. The co-founder of Woo Plus, Michelle Lee, said, "We're just trying to provide a comfortable environment for women who happen to be a little larger. It's for women of all different bodies and sizes, but we wanted to show that you don't need to have a low BMI, body mass index, to be attractive."
I don't like happen to be. Why do you need happen to be? Happen to be a little across me? Yeah, I happen to be on the phone right now. But like, why are you doing that? Just say women are a little larger. Yeah,
you're right. Like, you don't have to calm the situation.
It makes me really mad, and it just like trips me up while I was running with you.
Well,
Like happen to be.
yeah, and I think the language is almost like a little too, well, I know it's
We just happen to be a little larger. It's like, no, we're just I just happen to have donuts. A lot of people and another former fat person. I am a former fat person again. I am so mad about this. Tell me why.
Okay, so first of all, I have questions, okay, because this article did not cover this, but can regular size people join this dating network? Not just, I mean, it says regular sized men, not women. Obviously, only BBW is allowed. But can regular sized men join this network? That's one question. And if they can, how dare they?
Regular sized men can join, but regular sized women can't. This is for plus size women to find out. We did a thing on Think Tank when it was on there about whitepeoplemeet.com. And I'm like, listen, I think the average person on White People Meet is probably pretty racist, but I got no problem with that existing.
I was just about to say that as well. I was like, where's the white people meet?
It totally exists. I'm fine with it. If black people meet out there, white people meet should be out there. Plus size people, it's so
there's so many niche dating apps at this point, right? Like, I mean, generally dating apps, sites, whatever it is you want, you could probably go out there and find it. And my question, and this like dovetails with what you're asking around who will join, I'm like, how do you curate this community for compassion to make sure that they're not fetishized for women, and the line between fetish and interest and love is, I would think, hard to adjudicate.
Yeah, you're not going to keep this. If the intention is to create a safe place for women, it's not.
Because that does seem a bit of an
efficient way for you. It's more efficient than everyone being out there. Yeah. Because now you're narrowing it down to people whose category of person they're attracted to is you. Yeah. So you have that. You're still going to have nice people who are attracted to you. You're still going to have creepy people who are attracted to you.
I guess you can report the creepy people and they can kick them off.
And that happens. This person is fetishizing me instead of genuinely being interested in a relationship with me. It's like, have you been on Tinder? Yeah. Most of the people on Tinder are looking for one thing, and that's not a long-term committed relationship. Now, having said that, I do know two people that will be very excited with this development. One of them is Ja'Cory in the studio.
Really?
And why that? Yeah, and the other person is Drake, because they both like their girls BBW.
Drake, God, he's so talented. See him dance.
Just love him.
Smile, he's great. Thrinder is good. You heard of Thrinder? What? Thrinder, if you don't know, is a three-way dating. My girlfriend and I have a profile. Our name is Calvin and Frog. That's our big name. And we're just
like, you mean just fun, like board games fun?
Board games, but like while having sex.
Right, that's what I thought.
And,
just needed
sex with me and board games have a lot in common because they both, like that Venn diagram, overlap. Sorry.
Strong finish. Just like board games and
quick with the self.
It doesn't take very long, and it's okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. This is better than my counter.
Well, I think the idea around Blue Plus, I think, it's great intentions. I just wonder about the execution of it, because I feel like all the language, like we're seems a little, not empty, but vague about how they're going to create
yeah, you might. It's still dating. It's still online. The dynamic is still such that like you can judge people without meeting them or them seeing you, like meeting you. So the whole swiping is itself quite superficial. This will not make it as intimate as a friend introducing you to that person because they know you both.
Because they know you like girls BBW.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's just raising your chances of finding someone who's actually into you. This will find for you someone who's actually.
By the way, BBW is a porn term. For those of you who do not know,
actually about that.
It is a porn term.
There's a lot of acronyms out there that I'm completely aware of, and I wonder what communities are more aware of them. But I think sometimes, and let's just say, oftentimes in the adult community and porn, maybe it crosses over and becomes mainstream, and we don't even know that it originated. And I wonder what other terms there might be.
Plumpkin?
Yeah. Pumpkin, certainly.
Rick Santorum? Rick Santorum?
That was Dan Savage that perpetrated that amazing act of personal terrorism, sexual terrorism against Anthony.
I wonder what it is. But yes, there are things like that started off being adult only, and now
or maybe they were used in, your Craigslist ad, whatever.
Is that a segue?
That is a segue. Bada bing, bada boom. Thank you. Alright, who wants to get so loud the temperatures are dropping, and apparently sexual affections are also dropping for East Coasters who are posting Craigslist ads looking for frozen chocolate. I am not kidding. Is about to hit the East Coast. And, for example, these two Russians posted this on Craigslist. Cossacks, excuse me.
That's what the article says.
Cossacks are Russians.
Inappropriately read this in a
Actually, please, Hoss, I was hoping someone would.
I'm going to stand behind you in your one shot like the other guy.
Oh, gosh. I'm a don't
yeah, you can share those. Perfect. Yes, kids. That's like we all get to know this. They're not real girl, and then in the parentheses they put an S. Women. Myself and another woman will help you survive, support you, work and force Wednesdays to start festivities. We do more fun later. Unlike storms, and more. I'm gonna read that much. I think it's
okay. Literally, we have another one we can throw up.
Chill.
Throw up is the operative word. Our blizzard will be super if we hook up. Okay, so get in a wintry mix, guys. Make yourself a snow.
Like how people talk about this, like apocalypse, and they'll be like underground in a bunker for 3 years.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that. Were you guys aware?
Have you met a guy before? We use every single opportunity to get laid. Every single one. If we could accurately predict earthquakes ahead of time, like we do with
So you're saying your earthquake hit is just a
like, yo, what's up? Like, I'm gonna vibrate you worse than San Fernando is gonna get hit with the earthquake, girl. Like, boom. I remember the first time when I wasn't ready for sex. I remember the first time I was like cleaning my apartment. And I was like, and I was like, oh my god, like I have to like talk myself into it. I've never been in that situation. I know, but you'll get there. You'll get there. It'll happen. I'm gonna be like, I don't know why I'm still alive. I've heard that there's a transition that goes from you wanting an orgasm real bad to you wanting to take a really good food. Like that's like a there's a bridge you cross.
No, it's a pump and dump diagram.
Okay.
Let's get back to the frozen fornication.
You keep using frozen and my mind keeps going.
Let it go. Let it go. So I'm just still, what really I find amusing about all of this, of course, it's only men that I've seen, at least in the examples in this article. Please tweet me an example of a woman looking for a warm body right now. I would love to see her post.
I know someone emailed on our list that was just like, the blizzard's here, I just poured a glass of wine. Like that is kind of corporate. Yeah, it's just like, I'm gonna have a glass of wine, and I'm gonna probably turn on a movie, and I'm just gonna get a blanket.
Netflix and chill.
But like Netflix and warm, and just then maybe a nap. Like I don't think it's like women are like, oh yes.
That's what I'm saying. The women, we know what's up. Women are not like, let me post on Craigslist because I really need some dude to wave his fucking dick around my apartment. I just want to chill out, and I probably understand that it will be way more satisfying to masturbate in the long run than letting some stranger into my home.
Everyone just died on the live stream after you said that. There are minds literally exploding at the moment. But what I do need to say is because men take drastic measures because we have to, because we try to get laid and we usually fail. Whereas if a woman
wanted to get laid during a snowstorm, all they literally need to do is walk outside and go, "Fuck me, please," and like homeless people or like people popping out of garbage cans.
It's like he's the first person ever to have this stuff.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, that's the obvious reason. That's the obvious reason.
Here's the thing is that for these guys, you ever watch that show? Swamp People is a show where there's men in the bayou, and the way that they hunt for crocodiles, they just go out and they tie raw chicken on a hook tree. And they leave for hours and they come back to see if there is no longer a hook on a tree, which means it's in an alligator's mouth. That means, that is what this is. These Russian guys, I'm sure, are like, we'll set a hook here for the blizzard, here for if you grocery.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're right. A lot of
We check weather.
these men are hanging a lot of raw meat on a lot of trees. Clearly, that is what's going down. And I can imagine the quality of women who respond. I would think it would be interesting.
Probably mostly dudes respond to that are like, yeah, we're gonna post it and try to have sex with you guys instead.
I knew a guy who was a little off topic, but it's the end of the hour. I knew a guy he used to go on Marathon. He used to go on Craigslist and do ads saying, "Hey, young underage girl," and I want an older man to just kind of talk to, get to know.
This is Dateline.
And he would do the Dateline trap, but rather than like have them come into the kitchen and Chris Hansen like be there, he would have think you were gonna have. And he would invite them all to a public place. She said, "I just wanted to meet you in a public place." Chili's or something like that with a bar area in the middle at this time and wear a green hat. And he would do this to like 10 different dudes. So he'd be at the Chili's and 10 different guys would show up with green hats and just kind of look around at each other, and he'd wait till there were enough of them.
Meet your perverted compatriot.
And he would just sit at the bar and go, "Why didn't you
Converted this into some sort of sting operation.
rack up a bar tab and then really just, guilt them into paying for that bar tab?"
You know what I hope
Here's the bar tab. It's like, get the police involved. These guys are pedophiles.
I like using the British pronunciation, pedophile, but I mean, honestly, at least maybe scare them straight, like they were so ashamed and freaked out knowing that they've been lured into the situation, and maybe they looked at these other dudes and they were like, well, that guy's bad, then I'm insane.
Like, I'm a CPA, like, I just want to fuck with girls, whatever. Like, what do you mean? That's really specific.
That was anyway, if you are a woman looking for, I don't know, love during this snowstorm, apparently there are men out there who really want to help you out.
Also, Hawk and I have chains on our tires, just so you know, we can get there. Absolutely.
And I think we can wrap up this hour. Wow, it's really been colorful, I think. I really enjoyed chatting with you guys. It was fun just trying to, it was hurting cat. See y'all later.
Bye-bye. Oh, I did it.
No, I mean, that was okay. That wasn't bad. You want to just print it? Okay. We're done.
I want this country to have an old-fashioned, boring banking system. And that means that small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and you can get loans from banks who know you and whom you don't. I want banks to make affordable loans so that small and medium-sized businesses can create jobs. I do not want to continue a financial system which has Wall Street living as an island unto itself, only concerned about their own profits. decisions in our history. And that was this disastrous 5-4 Supreme Court decision on citizens' rights. I am the former chairman of the Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs. In that capacity, I have done my best to protect veterans, make sure they get the health care and the benefits they have earned.
We have precious little people that we can employ. You guys helped Mayor Allison recently, was our state leader in California. Thank you so much for doing that. We're up to 3.5 people that are full time. Everybody else is volunteers, warriors. I've been telling you about those warriors. Now I want to take some of those warriors and hire them full time so we can join. So I'm going to tell you about some of them right now. The guys are looking forward to having you guys help us. And by the way, let me tell you right up front. If you become a member, you wind up helping us hire these guys. That's the whole point. So even if you can't volunteer, even if you can't spend your Saturdays or your off time, or you can't make those phone calls, there is something you can do. So to go to wolf-pack.com/new year. And so our goal for the new year is 500 new members. We get to 500 new members, we get to hire all these people. So who are they? One is Jay Swearingen. He's been going across the Midwest, fighting a good fight, trying to convince state legislators. He used to be not only a state legislator himself, but he's former executive director of the Innocence Project, which gets innocent people off death row. And that nickname is the most obvious one in the world. Deadwood. So we gotta get Deadwood on our team. Let's go get him. Okay, the more members there are, the more of these guys we can hire. Now, the second guy is the guy you're also looking at right there, Richard Blake. Now, he is the leader of the Mountain Army in Illinois. In Illinois, we've already put on the map, largely thanks to Diesel and the great Mountain Army he has there. I've told you about some of the people there, Doc Daniels, great crew there. But Diesel is the leader of that crew. Great to have him on full time. Wolf-pack.com/new year. Let's get the 500. You know what people go, you can't get 500 members. By the way, okay, there's a cavalry of difference. I've got a donor who says, hey, you know what? An actually good guy says he will match the first $10,000. You guys put in $10,000, become a continuing supporter of Wolfpack, become a member, he'll match that. So what, every dollar you give, the first $10,000, you're giving $2 thanks to that guy. So there are people who believe, and the more you guys join, the more they believe, and the stronger we all grow together. One last group of guys that I want to tell you about is the Literati Group. They're a group of social media, basically, honestly, geniuses that Wall Street. Now they're coming on board to help us. Social media used to be just 5% of our traffic, and we're going to drive that up higher and higher so that more people can hear about Wolfpack, more people can join, more people can become volunteers and they're warriors, and then eventually become part of the cavalry that you're helping to hire. So let's get these guys on board. Let's get the Occupy Wall Street guys that know exactly how to get a lot of attention on our team. Let's get Diesel. Let's get Deadwood. Let's go. So wolf-pack.com/new year. One last thing, I don't know if it's going to be an incentive or a disincentive for you guys, but everybody who becomes a member in December will get a signed Christmas card from me with a picture of me. There's some chance that I've just ruined it. But if you're interested in that, I'm going to send you that to a holiday card, whatever card you want to call it. It's a perfect time to get together and say, you know what, here's a Christmas gift we're going to get for the country. Wolf-pack.com/new year. Let's get to 500. Let's go get them. Young
of the unlimited incomes, 20, 25, 30 more per second. They all just see that.
Alright, welcome back. Okay, so a couple of things. Number one, we've got the debate later tonight. Oh, it's on Fire Talk tonight. Okay, you guys gotta know that. So firetalk.com/the It's going to be me, Jimmy, Ben, and Sprinkle. You know that some bitches
watching Star Wars right now?
How dare he?
He should be watching the Young Turks. I hope he's got a little mobile phone that he's watching us secretly on the app.
It's in our contracts. We have to live and breathe TYT at all hours of the day.
That's right, even if I call you. So yes, the legendary Donnie Pye will join us, though, for the debate. That'll be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, firetalk.com/The Young Turks. Okay, speaking of which, I'm going to take a couple comments from Fire Talk. Leanne Davis says about Nancy Allen, the woman who wore the hijab.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Doing a solidarity?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. She says this woman is awesome. I've thought about doing this, and she's actually doing it. Well, Leanne, that's okay. In fact, other churchgoers there are thinking of joining. So why not make it a trend? Okay. Hashtag I hijab too. All hijabs. I don't know. Okay, those are bad hashtags, but you see my point.
Yeah, I like what she's doing, but it's also kind of interesting because I hate the hijab, right?
Yeah, I hear you. I know.
I stand in solidarity with my Muslim brothers and sisters. At the same time, I'm not putting hijab on. So.
I hear you on that too. Neither am I, but I love them for the ones that are decent enough to do that. Yeah, please. Okay, please. She wants more meat. One of you just screen captures on the day.
It was so good.
And she put it on Instagram. Right. The principal says, "Oh my God, so Christians actually listen to what Christ said to do. You would have to do unto you." Julia Mahoney says, "I want to give this woman a hug. She's clearly a compassionate woman, and I love that she's brave enough to take a stance. On the other hand, I have money on someone from Copper getting offended at calling this cultural appropriation." Oh, please don't do that. And by the way, she clearly, she's of course being the decent person she is. She went to the Grand Mufti. She went to Muslim friends. Yes, on Facebook, and everybody was like, "No, that's great. That's great."
Yeah.
You know what? I'm on a roll. I'm going to do better shout-outs. Vaughn Robinson, member number 2179, and Stacy Holloway, member number 1287. So Vaughn and Stacy, you guys rock the world. Forward.
As many of you know, a number of statewide investigations happened after the supposed sting videos of Planned Parenthood were released. Now, those sting videos were highly edited. It turns out that Planned Parenthood was never doing anything illegal when it came to fetal tissue. They were not selling it for profit. However, some of the authorities in Ohio are trying to nitpick and find other reasons to shut Planned Parenthood down. The recent issue has to do with now, the Attorney General in Ohio, his name is Mike DeWine, found no evidence that Planned Parenthood made money from aborted fetuses, but his report released Friday instead criticized its facilities for disposing of fetal remains in landfills. He accused the organization of violating a state rule requiring that fetal tissue be disposed of in a humane manner. So let's stop right there. It sounds bad, right? You're thinking, oh, they're disposing fetal remains in landfills, but that's actually what hospitals do. That's what clinics do, non-abortion-related clinics. Where did you want them to dispose of it? And the Ohio law says that they must be disposed of in a humane way. So Planned Parenthood does what many other hospitals do. They hire a third party to dispose of hazardous waste, of medical waste. It's standard operating procedure. There are some states that have specific laws that indicate that they must cremate the remains, and Ohio does not have that law. So, again, Planned Parenthood, in this case, is not going to make that.
So let's break apart what Mike DeWine was saying. By the way, Mike DeWine is a Republican, former Republican senator from Ohio. So he investigated, and like 10 other investigations of Planned Parenthood, all concluded there is zero evidence that they were selling any fetal tissue, let alone baby parts, Scarlett Fiorina and the murderer Robert Mueller. So all that was propaganda. And even the Republican who desperately wanted to find something in Planned Parenthood is there, okay, there's no evidence at all that they're breaking the law. So he had to invent something new because he wants to blame Planned Parenthood even if there's no evidence. It's like, oh, you can't break the law and say that they violated it. But then
I don't like the way you're disposing. What do you mean I don't like the way you're disposing it? It's the law says you should do it in a humane way. They've done it in a way that is perfectly acceptable throughout all this time. You have no evidence that they've violated the law or any regulation in any way, shape, or form. I don't care. I'm going to investigate them anyway. Well, what do you want them to do with it? You want them to cremate it? Well, if you want that, you should put it in the law, but it's not in the law. I don't care. I'm going to blame them no matter what. I believe that's called DeWining.
Yes, I like that. So what the state lawmakers are now doing is they're writing a bill that would force Planned Parenthood to cremate the fetal body parts.
But this is absurd because it's not a person. Now, yesterday we did a story about it was viable outside the womb, and it turns out it survived. The baby survived. You see, if the baby hadn't survived in that horrible thing that she did, then you would give that baby a proper burial. But before that, it is not a baby. That's why we have said that it is not an independent life form. So you don't have to bury it, you don't have to cremate it. It's fetal tissue. So you took tissue when you do a biopsy. You take tissue out of it. Do we have to bury that too, or go through cremation? No, this is an attempt to do propaganda to convince women that hey, you know, it is a life. It is a life. And in fact, the law that they want to pass in Ohio, they want to tell the women before they get the abortion. Would you, afterwards, no matter how young it is, no matter how early it is in the pregnancy, would you like us to bury it or to cremate?
Yeah, so part of the reason why they're doing that is because they're pushing this notion that fetus is a fetuses that are not viable outside the womb as independent life forms. That way you shame the woman who's seeking an abortion because she feels like she's a murderer, that she's killing an independent life form.
That you gotta put into a coffin. Now, I know people who've gotten abortions, and a lot of it was early on, and a lot of it was because there was no heartbeat, and something had gone wrong, there was nothing in the middle. I mean, that's the worst scientific explanation ever. But, I know. But there's a lot of different things that go wrong, and what do they have to do? They do an abortion, but it was never a life there in the first place. It was never a life. Now you tell that woman, okay, now would you like me to put this in a coffin? Screw off. Don't put your morality on us. That's an invented morality. It's not even your morality. It doesn't even say it in the Bible. In the Bible, it's pro-abortion. So I don't agree with the Bible. I'm pro-choice, not pro-abortion.
Yeah. Now, by the way, Georgia is one of the states in this country that forces Planned Parenthood to dispose of the body so fetal tissue through burial and cremation. So there are already states that are really specific about what they're doing. But again, Ohio lawmakers are upset at the way Planned Parenthood is doing things. A, they're not breaking the law, and B, they're not breaking the law because of you. You didn't write the law that fetal tissue should be cremated. They're trying to hurry up and do that now. They're trying to take legal action to shut down Planned Parenthood right away. But the judge intervened and said, no, you're not going to do anything to Planned Parenthood for the moment being. We're going to continue investigating this. If we find that they did something wrong, then we can shut them down. But it's unlikely that they're going to find that Planned Parenthood did anything wrong. Because they didn't. They didn't break any law.
They're doing the same trick now in Tennessee and Wisconsin. They're now going to fetal remains. We're going to see if you're disposing of them right. Where do you want us to put them? We've done this the same way. Hospitals have done it the same way. You know what you're doing? You're trying to block people from having abortions. You're trying to circumvent the law of the land. This country, by law, according to the United States Constitution, is pro-choice. You can disagree with that decision, but that's a sad day for you. That's the Supreme Court. That's the way this country works. The Supreme Court decisions I despise, like Citizens United. I don't say, all right, that's it. Well, then I'm not following. No, I do politics to try to overturn that. You're allowed to do the same thing. It's a free country, but you don't get to say no. I'm now changing the law state by state, and I'm going to try to ignore the Supreme Court. That's not how it works, okay? You can go ahead and fight back politically, but to come in here and say, I'm going to try to trick you into giving you a choice of it, even though that is not right. And by the way, let's be absolutely clear about this. Every single investigation has said that Planned Parenthood
is not selling baby parts or fetal tissue. Not. These are Republicans that are investigating who desperately want to do damage to Planned Parenthood, and they're still saying there is zero evidence. So get that through your thick heads. Fox News and all those other guys are just doing propaganda. It isn't true.
We should be doing that all over this country. We can create a reality much more than what we have today.
Many interpretations of what Jesus looked like tend to be wrong. He wasn't this white guy with long flowy hair and blue eyes. And one researcher wanted to prove it by not only relying on scientific evidence, but also relying on some references of Jesus' appearance in the Bible. So Richard Neve did this really great visual image of what Jesus actually likely looked like. Dude was from Galilee, okay? Around the Syria, Lebanon area. He looked like that, okay?
What? Jesus?
So I love this because this isn't a new story. This is something that people have been arguing about for quite some time. But I love that this researcher, again, not only used anthropological evidence, he also used the Bible. Read the Bible. The Bible talks about what God looks like, and he's not some blonde dude, okay? He looks like that.
How could anybody ever think that he was blonde or blue-eyed? You didn't come on, you weren't stupid enough to believe that, did you? He's got Middle Eastern. He's a Jew from the Middle East. Of course he wasn't blonde or blue-eyed. Why would he be that? The idea that he's blonde is just as improbable as that he's black. You know, people sometimes say, oh, black. I think you're a little confused. No, Middle Eastern dudes are not generally black. Right? They're also not Chinese.
Yeah.
Right? So, but he's certainly not blonde either. Maybe a bit more likely to be black than blonde.
Yeah.
But no, that's not what Jesus looks like. Jesus looks like me, thinks people across the world. If I thought that, I'd be closer.
Now, let me tell you about Neve's creating what Jesus probably looks like, okay? So, he's a retired medical artist. Okay, I didn't know medical artists existed, but that's kind of cool. He used science to make the best possible guess at what the founding figure of the Christian religion looked like. Unlike images that depict a Caucasian with flowing hair, Jesus probably had a dark complexion, dark eyes, and dark curly hair. Using techniques from a discipline called forensic anthropology, normally used to solve crimes. Neve used evidence like skulls from the time and place that Jesus lived. They then used computer technology to determine how tissue and muscle would have made his facial features look. Using another subtle clue from the Bible, the researchers determined Jesus' hair would have been cut short, as opposed to the flowing waves often depicted in religious imagery. In Corinthians, the Apostle Paul writes that long hair on a man is a disgrace. Paul wouldn't have written this, deduced, if Jesus had long hair.
I know it's a little random, but that's actually my favorite part. Because on almost all the pictures, including in antiquity, he's got the long flowing hair and he's like a hippie and all that. So they're like, no, it's great spec. It's great. And they say that he was likely about because
this is amazing.
Right, the historical Jesus, if you really look into it, there is an excellent dispute as to whether he actually existed. He appears to be a compilation of ancient mythology. So there is no guy who remember how incredibly ordinary he was. He was a Jewish carpenter from Galilee. That's it.
Yeah.
Right?
He was small.
And he didn't have when he left. Left the earth. He hardly had any followers. So it's not like, oh my God, somebody paid that Jesus guy that's got the thousands of guys following. He had about 12 guys that were following him. That's it. You can argue about it's a tiny bit more, yada yada. So, but as Anna was getting to, he was like 5'11". That's the average height back, and 110 pounds.
That's amazing.
So he was a tiny dude. So you think about it. He's a Jewish guy from the Middle East. It makes sense. And the anti-Semites they always amuse me. They're horrific, but they amuse me because they're like, oh, the Jews killed Jesus. Jesus was a Jew. How can you be mad at the Jews? All the apostles were Jews. It's how insane you have to be. Not, the ones that were with him, not the ones that later were, right? Like Paul wasn't originally Jewish, and he wrote the Bible. The guys who wrote the Bible are not the guys who were with Jesus. I know it's a mess. Okay, now let's show you some of the old Jesus. Okay, these are the ones that are in history. Long flowing hair. Disgrace. Not him. Come on, dude. Come on, dude.
I love the models.
A little fierce, though. Yeah, alright. I like these Nordic Jesus. Yeah, that looks like a Jewish guy. But that's the thing, though. Religion is what we put into it, for better or for worse. Sometimes people put terrible things into religion, they get terrible things out of religion. Sometimes they put wonderful things into religion, and they do wonderful actions, like Junior, and the list goes on and on. But they also do that literally. I want Jesus to kind of look like me. I'm from Germany, I'm from Norway, I'm from the U.S., wherever. And Jesus look a little. They don't even think of it. They just do all the action anyway. So keep it real. The real Jesus probably looked like the one the artist came up.
Alright, a shelter in Kentucky decided to throw out all its women and children because they were concerned that the women were tempting the male homeless individuals into having sex, and they can't have that. Now, this is Emergency Christian Ministry in Kentucky. The director, Billy Woodward, he says they may want to meet or sleep in a room occasionally. We can't have that. It seems like these last days are getting worse. The ungodly type. That the decision had been made based on teachings in the Bible, but he admitted that women were not completely to blame for the sex problem. No, keep in mind, this is the incredible thing. They decided to pick out the women and the children. Look, I don't think they should have picked out anything. If you think I'm making an argument they should have gotten rid of the men, then that's not the argument. But if they're having a sex problem, which it seems like they were having a sex problem, I feel like there are other ways to mitigate that issue, right? Throwing people out on the street, especially women and children, is not the best way to go.
Like, you think they were having a sex problem? I think they were having a sex solution.
Honestly, I agree. But who knows what kind of situation it was? Who knows if they were publicly having sex?
I know that they can't have it, and it's a church trying to help them. They don't want them having sex. And there might be kids around. There's a lot of good reasons why they should be having sex. On the other hand, if you're a homeless dude and you got a chance to get some, what are you going to do? Say no? I mean, I don't know. I'd probably say yes. And if she offered the ungodly type of sex, even better. But what do you want? Godly sex?
No, but this kind of symbolizes what typically happens in religion, right? So if there are two individuals doing something wrong and it's something sexual, it's usually the woman who gets blamed, right? The woman is tempting. This is the one thing that drove me crazy about church when I was a churchgoer, okay, when I was growing up and I went to Sunday school. Every time we did communion, we had to wear like a doily on our head. Right?
What is that, like a hijab?
No. It was, I'd say doily because it looked like doily, but it was just basically this like lacy covering that we, almost like a veil that we had to put on our heads. And I never really, it was not. I think I was supposed to do the exact opposite. The whole reason why women had to wear that was because we didn't want to distract the men. Okay? And so it's insulting on so many different levels because if places are only some women, right? By the way, I was a kid at that time, right? So if men are like salivating over me as I'm a kid, then we got some issues.
It would be your fault. You would be tempting them.
I would be tempted, exactly. And then also, it's bad because it makes it seem as though they can't control themselves. They're going to see me without the veil covering my head, and then they're going to like seriously masturbate in church. It doesn't work that way. At least I hope so.
I hope so. But it's the same thing with fundamentalist Muslims. They think men are the weakest thing in the world.
Yes.
Like the minute they see a woman, if they see a quarter of her ankle or elbow, and they can't help themselves, they're going to attack the woman. It's a pathetic view of men. But in this case, if it takes two to tango, I mean, he said it himself. That's the last graphic there. He said it takes two to do that. They're referring to sex. Sure, exactly right. We are not biased or prejudiced whatsoever. Well, that's literally not true. Because because you made a decision to kick out the women and children instead of the men. Why? Because it is the biblical view of, Adam and Eve, the woman tempts the man, it's her fault. But the poor guy, what could he do? I'm sure he was just sitting there, and these ungodly types came in and were like, you want to have sex? And men were like, sorry, gee, normally I'm not into sex, but now that you have me, okay. Yeah. It's just a chance that men were slightly more willing participants.
And when it comes to sex specifically, it's interesting how religion will blame the woman for being the temptress, right? But when it comes to anything else where someone's doing something wrong, they don't blame the thing that tempted the person. They blame the person for giving into sin, right? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's personal responsibility on everything else, but on sex, it's the woman's fault. Like, if you gave in, because men wrote it, and they thought, I mean, if a hot woman comes on you, or maybe any woman comes on you, what are you going to do? Well, obviously you're going to have sex with her, and that's not your fault. It's her fault for tempting. Because once she comes on you, it's game over. Well, that's an assumption. Why Russell said this? If they'd done it right, it would be fine. I don't know what that means, but I don't want to find out. There's some apparently ungodly types going overboard with sex there. I'm not into homeless folk. What the hell is going on in that ministry over there? Emergency Christian Ministry. Emergency in
We spend almost 3 times more capital than the British do.
What have we done? I said it out loud.
Pretty good parenting healthcare for all the people. And we spend a lot more than our Canadian neighbors who provide healthcare for all the people. And that is why I believe this country should move for a Medicare for all single payment program. It will save middle class families thousands of dollars a year, save businesses thousands of dollars a year. Alright, let me, you have been a very patient audience, so I thought I should, but let me just keep reading. Thank you. State of New Hampshire is going to be looked at by people all across this country and in fact all across the world. And the issue facing those of you who participate in the Democratic Party is, and that is whether we continue status quo establishment politics, or whether we have the courage to stand up and fight back and demand that we have a government that represents all of us and not just wealthy campaign contributors. Now that is not what's going to be all about. There will be names on that. That really is New Hampshire and all of you. And I know that you take your responsibilities very, very serious. I'm really impressed. I think there are people here who have gone to more than one meetings, you've gone to Secretary Clinton's meeting, Governor Brown's meeting, that's the best. You're trying to see what the candidates are saying, and you have to reach your own decision. I hope very much that here in New Hampshire, on election night, we can tell the world that we have faith that this country can move forward to fulfill what we all know is potential to be. That we can be a part of a political revolution which makes government work for all of us and not just a few. Thank you all very much.
You're back, Alan.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is the afterburn. Again, I'm Alice, and I'm in Savannah, Georgia. I'm joined by Ryan in Milwaukee and Denise in Seattle. So that was Bernie in Hudson, New Hampshire, and I just looked up where that was. It's a little bit west of Boston. It's so it's probably drivable to Boston, and there were, according to our guys on the ground, 870 people there. So pretty good.
Pretty good for a town hall, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the speech today?
I thought it was definitely tailored to the audience. Having, because I grew up in New England, I don't know, I was trying to figure out how to qualify that, and I'm like, this is for New Englanders, definitely. And he talked a lot about industrialism, like working class people, and I feel like that will probably really speak to people in New Hampshire. So that was cool. What did you think, Ryan?
Yeah, like you were saying, I feel like he does a good job of speaking to his audience and knowing the policies that interest them, and yeah, to speak to a working class area like that, I think he did a really good job. I was on social media during him speaking and just watching the hashtag We Are Bernie just blowing up, and there's a lot of good tweets going out there about their support for Bernie.
Yeah, that's awesome. I see in that slide you've got CJ Pearson, which is pretty cool. He used to be he's young, isn't he? He's do you guys know exactly how old he is?
I don't know how old he is, but he is young.
Yeah, no, he's younger, but he was a GOP pundit basically, and he switched teams. So I guess he's using the We Are Bernie hashtag. So everyone get on board. I'm gonna go tweet it after this. Super cool. Ryan, did you make that slide, by the way? It looks great.
No, I did not, but thank you for
whoever made it.
did.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you.
That was me in the back end. Janine and I do drop of those things. We've got another one for you that I did too early. Do you want to prep it? I apologize for ruining your hot news. Right?
Oh my gosh, no, that's cool. That's cool. My dad listens to folk music, so I definitely have a place in my heart for Art Garfunkel, and I think you guys were talking in the chat earlier about the new ad from the Bernie campaign with the song America by Art Garfunkel, and a news report came out from, oh my gosh, what is the...
Variety.
Thank you, Variety. Thank you. Variety interviewed him about why he gave them permission to use the song, and there's a great quote that Janine found while we were watching this on the slide.
You gonna read it?
Sure, I can read it. I'll read it. I can find it on my computer. Okay, he says, now I believe that the moneyed interest has gone too far and have rigged the system. Sanders' campaign is focused on Wall Street and campaign finance corruption, and he has condemned remarks that Donald Trump's made about Mexicans and Muslims. So it seems like Art Garfunkel definitely feels the burn.
Oh yeah,
that was great quote, and thanks, nice find, Janine.
Yeah, and we're gonna run the video later, right? We're gonna run the we can run it.
We can run it right now, actually, since we're talking about it. Do you have it easily available?
I need a second. I need 1 second.
Okay, no, that's cool. That's cool. So there have been a couple of other Bernie news items that have come up. Celeste very nicely dropped some in the Slack for me. I can open it now. Sorry, guys. I went through all my content earlier, so everyone was helping me find other stuff to talk about. He released a news bite about Roe v. Wade and how Bernie released a released a press release, I guess. I'm sorry, press release about supporting Roe v. Wade and how he just reasserted his support for Roe v. Wade, which was great. He's been pretty solid on that stance, I think, and that's definitely a big one for me. So I appreciate that. He did another press release, definitely sort of skirting the line with an attack. He's very good at not crossing the line for sure. But he was talking about a claim that Hillary made. That let's see, I read this earlier. Ryan, help me out. Have you looked at this?
I'm not sure. Elaborate a little more.
All right, here I'm gonna.
Establishment claim? Which one are you talking about here?
Yeah, it's the establishment. It's the here. There's the link.
Oh. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. She's trying to say that Bernie's the real establishment candidate because he has been in Congress for so long, but that isn't really the translation, Hillary. It's not necessarily your time in office that makes you establishment. It's who you are dedicated to and who you are serving in that office. And Bernie is about as anti-establishment as you can get in that regard. However,
right, absolutely.
She did kind of make an argument for Bernie when people say that they want Hillary because she has the experience. Well, now we have her telling us that Bernie's the one with the real experience, so she almost shot herself in the foot on that one.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting some garbled messages about experience from her, because I recently saw a meme or a picture going around with their years of experience, in two different columns, and basically it was just a no-brainer. Bernie has had significantly more time in elected office. It was where she's been she was first lady, of course, and has done that, but has had a lot less time in elected office. So
right.
that's a good indicator to me. I would rather have somebody who feels like they have to answer to somebody rather than someone who's just been part of the political crony system. So
right.
I thought that was a pretty good delineation of the issue. Okay, John says he's ready with the ad, so ready when you are.
Let's run it.
Dusty lovers will be our fortunes together. I've got some real estate here in my bag.
There's some really good crowd shots in there. Was Tad Devine the director of that? I saw the name floating around. I wasn't sure.
Tad Devine is Bernie's advisor, one of his advisors. And I believe he helped kind of make that, but I'm not sure of his exact role.
Okay, cool. Well, anyway, thanks for that, Denise. Okay, Denise, are you out there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay, no.
I'm watching 5 million things at once.
Yep, I hear ya. So what's going on in the chat room?
Oh, everybody loves the ad. That's we talked about it earlier, and yeah. How can you not love that ad? I'm sorry.
I know it's so powerful, like without trying. Yeah, it's a really good one.
Yeah. So Let's see. Sorry, you caught me off guard.
Nope, sorry.
Just a lot of people thinking, a lot of people commenting on what we were talking about, Senators. And of course, you guys mentioned that we are burning Twitter trend. That was a big conversation on chat.
It's huge. It's huge. It was at 26K last time I looked, and now they're saying it's number 3.
Yeah, they're saying it's number 3, and people were flipping back and forth between us and the Twitter. And so what can't you know? I'm too old. I have to do one thing.
I just got to say that the America ad is, Janine said this earlier, is totally aimed, guys, at the boomers. And I'm not quite a boomer, but I am a big Simon Garfunkel fan. And if you go back, you want to see something, it gives me goosebumps, makes me cry. But if you go back and look for SNL 1975, Simon Garfunkel were on there. That will blow your mind. But yeah, just it totally works for me. Oh,
me too.
Oh, interesting. Is Hillary writing off? But she's already. Yeah, we did get some. By the way, I know you're looking at stuff, but there's comments coming through that I'm overlaying. And somebody's right. Like Hillary really has bailed on Iowa, New Hampshire. She's like, okay, we're screwed there. Moving on.
What was that with the 5-minute speech? Did I see something about giving a 5-minute speech and leaving?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, people were not happy about that.
No, that's poor form.
She threw some pop singer at them and then bailed after 5 minutes.
And did you see the thing where she said she was going to shake some sense into Iowa?
Oh, into Iowans? Yeah. That's
I don't think they're going to react too well to that. Yeah, no. Pretty sure they can make their own opinion.
That's the kind of stuff a dog cornered says. You know? When you're scared and defensive and you're in a corner and you think you're going to get hurt, you say stuff like that. It's just senseless.
It makes me wonder, like, what final say does she have in some of these moves that she makes to win people over? Like, we were talking the other day about her, like, Twitter pandering and things like that, and you know, is it her team that is really just bent on making her look bad, or does she get the final say on this stuff? Because she's just made some bad moves as far as, you know, trying to win over these people in Iowa.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's I don't know. Yeah, she's always been kind of cagey. I think she's always been a little. I don't know. My obviously she's not my person, my pick, but my biggest issue with her is that she seems really disingenuous, and I don't think anything I've heard in the last couple of weeks has changed that opinion at all. I still feel like she's calculating and saying what she thinks will get me to do a certain thing rather than saying something based on principle. And I mean, not that I want to turn this into the Hillary rant show. You know, she's better than the many other options out there. But you know, there's a reason that I picked Bernie, and it's because he's a genuine individual, and I mean, I hate to be one of those people that goes on like, their gut, he seems like a nice guy, but having known of him and been aware of him since I was a kid, I've seen it from, you know, the time I was like 8 years old. I've known of this guy, and he's still the same guy.
Yeah.
Some people are asking about the comment that Hillary made about shaking some sense into Iowa, and I don't know if John's got that available or not. But if he does,
we have it on the earlier slide deck. Give me a second, I'll pull it up. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why anyone would make such a comment that's so condescending.
In what context did she make that comment? Was it supposed to be private and it got out, or did she say it publicly?
I think my understanding is she said it publicly in a speech at one of her rallies. And will we hear, because I know we have the official
I got it here, guys.
Okay, yeah, bring that up. Thanks.
So this is, I don't know, this is all we have. It was a statement from Michael Briggs, and it basically says, U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders campaign spokesman Michael Briggs issued the following statement Thursday after an aide to Secretary Hillary Clinton said she gave a speech to shake some sense into Iowa. So the aide says she gave a speech to shake some sense into Iowa. We don't know if Hillary made that statement or if this is the aide making the statement from what I'm looking at. Right? It says, this is a strange way to appeal to Iowans who already have lots of common sense. That's why they picked Barack Obama in 2008, and that's why we are confident they will caucus for Bernie on February 1st. I think what the shock here is that the aide made this public statement. It doesn't matter if it came out of Hillary's mouth, it came out of the aide's mouth, it counts. Right?
Right, it's still officially from the campaign. Yeah.
Not good.
No, that was definitely a misstep. Okay.
Reading on CNN that it was definitely an aide that said it. One advisor said that the speech was given to, quote, shake some sense into Iowans. So even if it's one of her advisors that said it, still wasn't very smart.
No, yeah, I don't think that Iowans are gonna appreciate that too much. Okay, so can I plug some of the shows we have coming up? Everyone in the chat, I don't know if you've heard about John's Real Newsroom show. It's every day, is that right? It's 7 days a week.
Would you guys plug the newsroom show?
Hey, there we go. Yeah, or you can jump in. Yeah, I watched one episode, a backlog episode of it, and it was great. So go.
I will do a quick newsroom and explain what the heck is going on anyway. We do have a ton of shows coming up. The newsroom is 7 days a week, as long as I can do 7 days a week. Janine usually joins me. A couple of the people usually join me, and it's barring our channel getting shut down. It's barring a lot of things. Yesterday, channel got shut down. A lot of people are asking about what that is. Channel number 4 was suspended. We talked about it on the newsroom. So we're on channel number 5. The domain Bernie2016.tv will now resolve to our new YouTube channel for as long as that remains. I'm getting a lot of people actually not really understanding what I said in a video that I released yesterday that I did after the newsroom. The newsroom was I talked about climate change, by the way, yesterday. And what it is the news without bullshit, without censorship, without MSM slant. And if I'm wrong, tell me, show me. This is our show. So, sorry, I'm really glowing. I have too many lights on here. It's our show. So, this is me reporting the truth as we discover it from you. Right? And we remove the bullshit, talk about what's going on, and we continue to talk about the issues that matter to the 99 because they're not being discussed on MSM. That is the purpose of the Real Newsroom. It's modeled after the sadly fake newsroom created by Aaron Sorkin that was such a great show on HBO. And I said to myself, why doesn't this exist? The takedown of the channel is discussed on a video there. I really need your help getting that video out. I'm really trying to reach Google. I'm really trying to reach YouTube. I'm really trying to work with these people, although we're at war, and I don't think we're going to be able to. They shut me down. Terms of Service 4, Section H. That is not copyright infringement. To people who think that I violated copyright, okay? Each channel is a separate entity. Channel 4, Terms of Service 4, Section H, which is basically their blanket. We shut you down because we damn well felt like it. We don't have to really explain ourselves. Fuck you. That's what that means. I have talked with lawyers. There is a big case here. It's just a First Amendment case, so it requires big lawyers with big commitments, with money and stuff that I don't have the power to amass. But it's a case. It's a solid case. So that's what's going on. That's why we're at war. 7 days a week, 9 a.m. my time, noon for the rest of the world. East Coast. Janine joins me. These guys, I just want to explain how this works. The volunteers in the back end our products in the back end. The volunteers in the virtual production environment that we have here. They work their asses off every day helping me source news and make sure it's accurate and pull quotes and drop things into slide decks. And, it's a massive collective effort. Nobody claims credit for anything, tries to. Nobody's out there shining a spotlight on themselves. What we're trying to do is bring you Bernie and the news that MSM will cover, we are literally at war with them. So that's what it is. There we go. Explain that. What else do you want to talk about, Alice?
I want to encourage everyone. It was kind of heavy, but go check out some of the previous episodes of the Real Newsroom. The climate change one in particular kind of made me want to drink. It was heavy, but powerful. Go watch it.
Wow, thanks. I didn't know that. I mean, I'm not sure I'm happy that I wanted to make you drink, but I'm glad it's time.
Yeah, it's a necessary conversation. You know, I keep trying to avoid it because it's harsh, it's horrible, but I mean, this is, you know, it needs to be talked about. So,
we have no choice at this point. It's now or never, literally, to address these climate change issues, or we're going to get past that tipping point, and it's going to be too late to do something about it. People don't understand.
And no one is making it like a top level issue except for Bernie. Like no one else. He's the only one who's like, this is a really big deal now, like right now. And I'm a big fan of Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm sure many of you are also. And he makes a great case for solar energy. And he's like, the sun is free. It's here. Why don't we use it? I mean, in someplace like Savannah, we get tons of sun, and there's absolutely zero reason why we shouldn't have solar panels all over the place, but we don't. So I'm a big fan of solar, in spite of the unfortunate issues it's had getting off the ground here. I really hope that it gets somewhere soon, because we need it.
Hey, Alice, you mentioned Neil deGrasse Tyson, and if anyone who hasn't seen it, go watch Cosmos. He did kind of a revamp of the old show, and in it he talks about some of the mass extinction events and what the CO2 levels were during some of those events, and just go and check it out. You know, it kind of relates to this whole climate change discussion that we're talking about.
It certainly does. I showed this slide too, guys. Just want to show that again. This is from the newsroom. This is from the newsroom, and if you guys look this up, I couldn't play it, but this is true. Okay. This is true. The CO2 equivalent of getting there on time for us as a planet was stopping using carbon fuels, fossil fuels 20 years ago, guys. Shutting off the cars 20 years ago. We are behind. Anyway, that was one of the things. Sorry, Alex, didn't mean to interrupt this.
That's a great one. Yeah, it's the urgency is definitely, you know, right now, guys. And I try not to think about it too much because it is so frightening. But yeah, no. So thank you so much for diving into that. It's we need news like that to, you know, kind of wake us up a little bit. So I also want to encourage people to check out We the People, which is interviews with other politicians around the U.S. who are progressives and working vocally to support a lot of the same ideas that Bernie does. We have one with Portia. What is her last name? I'm so sorry.
Bolger. Portia
Bolger. And where is she out of?
I don't know. Yeah, she's the founder of Women for Bernie, and that episode of We the People.
Okay. She's a founding member of Women for Bernie, and I believe she's out of Ohio.
Ohio. Okay, outstanding. Thank you for fact checking me there. But that was a recent episode. I have not watched it, but I would definitely like to. So
it's
you
awesome.
should definitely watch it. It was really, really good.
Oh, and John's about to bring up a picture. Great.
There's Portia. Portia's a badass. Just saying. Portia was badass. And there's her with Bernie. I'm just going to show you something else. This is her 1984 as a union carpenter. I don't know where, but a union carpenter. Wow. Her being an activist. Okay. Being an activist. Being an activist. Being an activist. She's done amazing things, and there's a video that we played that was so awesome. I was so impressed. She has the same piss and vinegar and passion that we do, and she's just out there screaming about fracking, and it was wonderful. She's awesome. So yeah, check that out.
Thanks.
Back to you, Alice.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, back to me. I think we're down to closing thoughts, guys. I would really like to thank Cindy, Lou, and Celeste, who were in the chat tonight helping us out. We could not do this without you guys. Celeste, thank you for dropping stuff into the Slack, saving my butt. So I'm going to go to my cohorts here for some closing thoughts. Ryan?
Yeah, I just want to say to everybody that tomorrow is Bernie's national address. There's a lot of stuff going on across the country, so check your rally apps if you are on social or on a smartphone or anything like that to find out where your closest Bernie event is, because there's some marches going on. There's a ton of view parties, and I think there might be a big money bomb tomorrow too. So donate for Bernie, and get out there and get with a big group of friends and watch him address all of us tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Denise, any last words from the chat, guys?
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone in chat for sticking with us, and as we bring you the live feed, we figured it out, and I really appreciate it. Everyone stuck with us and kept me busy on my toes. Thank you. And thanks to Cindy and Lou and Celeste, everyone who's throwing stuff out there. I really appreciate it, and we'll be back on tomorrow. And yes, have fun, you guys, if you go out. Seattle's having a big get-together. If you're in Seattle, I know there's some people in the chat in Seattle. Check it out. They're meeting at Red Square at UW and marching down the Ave, so that should be fun. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Denise. Again, I'm Alice, and I'm in Savannah, Georgia. And I just want to thank everyone who is watching, listening, participating. It's so great to have this platform and have, this kind of communication with real people. And I encourage all of you to not let this be the only thing you do. Go out, talk to people. I went out to a club night in Charleston last night, and I was still talking to people about politics. And I was like, I can't be that person, but I was trying to get it in there when I could, because I feel like it's important that that it's not something that's closeted away, that we talk about issues, and kind of keep the air clear, So, anyways, that was a poorly articulated thought, but thank you guys all for being here. We have a video to close out on by a local artist in Savannah. His name is Steve, aka Basically. He hosts a local hip-hop night every Tuesday at my favorite bar in Savannah, the Jinx. Say the Jinx. And the song is called Again. And it samples Bernie Sanders. He did it like 10 years ago. So, he's been feeling the burn for a very long time. So basically, check him out. And hey, if anyone knows Killer Mike, tell him to come to our hip-hop night. Okay, so yeah, I think we're ready to roll. Thanks.
Clearly, on the Republican side, what we do know is that for years they have coordinated what they call their message of the day. So you'll hear on the floor of the House, you'll hear on Rush Limbaugh, you'll hear on the Fox and Rupert Murdoch's network, the issue of the day, which they will pound away at, which then creates the echo chamber, which resonates throughout America. Sometimes it's hard to tell it.
Tracks out of the place, sitting there right there in your face. All together, gotta come up on the head of the face. When it never done a tenor, right about the face. Fuck up, south, and the rest, gotta have the race. Use a video sources to have their performance. Making a separation between people and dormants. Simply feeding what you to believe in. Not giving a reason to keep it in the forces that big sir. And to make sure that the plan that is dirt. And the problem use the force. Ready to sacrifice that it was active life. Just to make sure that you will force. Choose someone. But it really was important. Even though one of you was just distorted. Some of them that was getting used to more than anything. And it doesn't even be recorded. I know that it seems distorted. They're thinking of all of your dreams, but you gotta be to afford it. But if you're broke, then I get your dreams distorted. That's in the world, but don't need to be recorded. Of course, it's the best. Distorted by men. Believe it, they deserve to play your sky man. For the wild, no one to the bottom of like damn to the land, and they trying to roll it is like sand. Killing the privilege or an end of lifespan. Living this in the middle, they get you a light chance. Living there with the giving and keeping for 5 minutes. Bringing mirrors to the hearts of those people that might stand for something. It seems like all around the world, corruption. Continue with this fucked up plan. stuck in. Making it hard to function and another never to this. I begin to function like this. Stop. We gotta work together to get into the function like this. Stay to the work, we continue with the beat like this. And we gotta do our own, that's one of the things I'm telling you, we keep on following them, we're gonna end up with the same damn problem again, it's like this. Stop. We gotta work together to get into the function like this. Stay to the work, we continue with the beat like this. And we gotta do our own, that's one of the things I'm telling you, we keep on following them, we're gonna end up with the same damn problem again.
We live in a small number of countries have this much concentrated power. They will always exist. It's simply unacceptable in a free society. And if you don't change the system, we could be having this conversation for the next 50 years. We're talking about Rupert Murdoch and
God and propaganda, all one in the hands, all is lost, and we take on up in the trance of what the system symbolize is the right, it all depends on how they value your life, it's all dependent on if you're told by their vices, all devices, you can pass on the virus through your iris, and other sound sources, so you ain't gonna expect to keep the crowd going, performing the host, unknown the most, demanding obedience from coast to coast, steadily rubbing it until you overdose, feeding you the same shit till you comatose, giving you the feels by using hope and goes, hope and most, so that's how you broke the hopes and dreams, using the same coast to scheme to keep up the jump on the do whatever goes on me to get it done, so sometimes I get it done, to build safer rest of Americans that are signed the door, until it doesn't seem to much to offer from those we chose to hold the throne, the altar, those we chose to use control the altar, lots of folks lost in hope and water, trying to stay afloat, find a way to cope with the correct coming out of the trying to make a joke, it seems like the team designed to make us broke, it's funny to me, but I'm not trying to make a joke, I just pray and hope that we start to realize is a thing, it's a great way that I feel alive, so I feel high, must take you, to speak up on the schemes and everything you, to keep up to my dreams and means to send you a message of power to change it in you, I know it's another story, but don't be hopeless about the things being used to keep us stupid, they don't know what I do, trying to keep us clueless, it's only a use of the whole ruthless, misguided man making bold excuses, playing with people lives so they hold every minute, it doesn't really matter when you know the truth is that everybody in the bottom so we're doing this, people all around me, so in your eyes, things really gotta change, and that was the time you find your way along and you aim for the sky, but first we got this great big cloud in the cloud, people all around me, so in your eyes, things really gotta change, and that was the time you find your way along and you aim for the sky, but we gotta work together just to make the cloud, this here, stop, we gotta work together to get into the box that's like this, here, space to the watch, we continue with the beat, the face that's like this, here, and we gotta do our own, that's out of the train, cause I'm telling you, if we keep on following that, we gonna end up with the same damn problem again, it's like this, here, stop, we gotta work together to get out of the box that's like this, here, space to the watch, we continue with the beat, the face that's like this, here, and we gotta do our own, that's out of the train, cause I'm telling you, if we keep on following that, we gonna end up with the same damn problem again,
why our system is vastly superior to anything else that we can. It's not that people think they're being people don't think that they're looking for that. They're much easier to recognize the genius of our media systems, a system of ideology and control compared to an authoritarian system.
What you will see, of course, is intensive discussion about what we call the wedge issues. You'll hear, affirmative action. You'll hear abortion. You'll hear certainly gay rights. God in separation of church and state issues will be on television every single day.
Huge.